Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing on this Friday night chat with Al? We have a couple of wonderful folks with us. We have Mike in the truck and Lee. These two gentlemen have created a plethora of seasons for pro strategy football throughout the years. But this pro strategy football 2023 coming to a PC near you very soon on Steam. Will be out early September. And you'll be able to play along with the 2022 season. The team, can you do better than that guy on the sidelines that you criticize every Sunday and Monday and throughout the week? So we have our good friend Mike in the truck and Lee. How you guys doing? We'll start with Mike in the truck.
Well, thanks for having us, Al. Good to see you again. And you mentioned us, but I do want to also...
Oh, and there's many more.
Yes. Well, there's a gentleman who goes by the handle Dream Teams, who we were talking about earlier, who also does some artwork. And he has been basically an unsung hero, behind the scenes kind of person. So I wanted to acknowledge him. He has been a big part in helping me these mods being made.
Excellent, because I find the animation absolutely wonderful. Each year that I've had this game and had the privilege to play this game and be a beta tester a few years in a row, every time the new version comes out, I'm like, wow, I can't believe this game's gotten better. It's more fun, more strategy, and it's just fun. Lee, how are you doing? First time we've actually talked. First time I've actually seen Lee. We correspond emails and stuff, and it's just an absolutely fabulous thing that you, Mike, the Dream Team, and many others do with this game, along with Kerry bringing us the game, which was originally Tom Landry football, correct?
That's correct.
That's right. Yeah.
So there is so much history behind this game, and I have to stress this. The seasons. Now, some people might be upset with the price. The seasons are free.
An outrage.
It's an outrage. How much do they cost? Free. Every season from the early 40s up until
1940.
1940 till this season coming up, 2022. Free. You just have to download it and put it in the proper files, which is pretty easy. And if you have an issue, there'll be someone you can ask a question. We'll try to help you with that. But it's a marvelous game. Lee,
how did we do that, man? How did we do that?
I don't know.
Once we started, it was just like we just couldn't stop.
I think stop.
It was like, all right, well, we've done this decade. Well, let's look at
this. Was funny. Decade. Listen to this. This was because
that's exactly what happened. It was Mike. I think you were the one, because we were both kind of doing it together. And at one point you said, well, let's just do them all. And I'm like, what do you mean them all? Like, let's just do as many as we can. Let's go back to let's go back to the Stone Age here, leather helmets. I'm like, okay. And that's what we did. And
well, I mean, it was I had made compilation leagues, and I approached Lee and Dream Teams because I was just going to have like just a generic artwork that comes with the game and make the uniforms the right colors. There wouldn't be any logos. And I was just making compilation leagues of like great all-time teams just to have something. And so I approached these guys, and they made the logos and the uniforms, for several versions before, and they were just fantastic. So Lee started making single seasons, and I was still
Lee,
working.
Did you make the 48 season, the combined AAF?
Yeah, that was my first. Yeah, that was.
I had so much fun with the Boston, whatever.
That was a blast. The Boston
whatever they're
Yanks.
called, I forgot.
But Yanks.
Yeah,
Yanks with the helmets and no face masks. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, that was the first. That was sort of the first test, if you will, to see if like you could really do like an old, historic league from that era. And it wasn't perfect, right? But
nothing is perfect.
We figured out that you can do this, right? Because even though you don't have many players back then, you had most of the guys play both ways.
Right.
And you could find that information out there. Pro Reference or Pro Football Reference.
Yes.
There's many other sources out there that'll tell you who started, who played what position. So I'm like, heck, why not? So that was fun. And then the best part, again, you kind of go back to the images and the graphics and try to capture that visual, right?
The
I think
nostalgia
that was
of that time period.
That was the most fun, just kind of creating those old stadiums and fields.
I tell you
and
another
the
thing,
mud, and it was cool.
That's so enjoyable. The ballparks, where they played football, it was a baseball stadium.
Yeah,
I love
baseball
seeing
dirt.
the infield and I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's going to be better this year because Lee was able to add to some of that, enhance. Like I saw, like old Texas Stadium, instead of being a straight line like this, it was look
There he
who's
is.
here.
There he is, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man too sweet to be sour. Not superstar Billy Graham, but Kerry Batts.
Kerry,
What's up?
hello.
Howdy, guys.
How are you, my
Good
friend?
to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Lee. Good to see you,
Good
Al,
to
of
see you
course,
too,
and
Kerry. It's good to
Mike.
be here.
So
Howdy, guys.
we were just talking about. I had said, some people might be disappointed with the price of the seasons. Free,
Yeah, I know.
free,
That's right.
free.
Pretty amazing, and all that artwork. I'm gonna close my door. Be right back.
Yeah. But the game is so much fun, and we're gonna get more into it. We have 3 experts here, and I can honestly say each version has got better and better, funner and funner. I don't know if that's proper to be the English.
It's not, but everybody gets you.
Funner and funner, more enjoyable. It's just, and Kerry, thank you very much for joining us and coming out to talk with the community. Again, this was originally based on Tom Landry football. So there's a lot of history again behind this. This isn't a fly-by-night Johnny-come-lately game. It's been around for a long time, and Kerry's done a marvelous job along with the mod community. Again, there's many. We have Lee and Mike in the truck here, dream teams, and there's other people too who have worked hard. Christopher Slovic, who adds some voiceovers. I add some voiceovers.
That's right.
It's funny when I was playing. I'm like, wow, that's me talking to me. That's awesome. I can see why people get annoyed with me.
I love the commentary.
Ron Duckett got blown
Kerry,
away, literally.
How are you? And how do you like so far this version?
Oh, I enjoy it. Of course, I don't get to play it much. I'm hoping to play more soon.
We don't either.
I know.
That's where I'm luckier.
I haven't played a full game.
Play it.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, Lee and Mike, they're heroes. I got to tell you, because I love playing the game, but it's such a jump, so orders of magnitude better because of the past leagues and the artwork. Just amazing. And in fact, right now, I got caught up in trying to work on something for the fullback teams like the Washington Redskins and Riggins, and I forgot to join the meeting. Oops, I gotta go. So
well, I'm glad you're getting to work on that, because I was hoping that you would get a chance to. It's good to hear you're taking a look at that.
Yeah, there's some things I want to do in the next 2 weeks, but I got to be careful not to break something, right?
Right.
Because, for example, on the Riggins thing, it is now correctly putting him in there on the one-back formations. But I ran a highlight and it showed Griffith at both locations, both positions. So I've got to see why. So my feeling is I will either have it working 100% or I'll leave it out for release and keep working on it till I get it right. But I've got 2 weeks. So I'm hoping to get that in there. And one of the big things I wanted to get, but it's not going to be there yet, is the fantasy draft. I wanted to
okay.
But I'm fixing things first. Like sometimes the AI does some things, like it'll kick a field goal on the last play, even though it's leading, or it'll sometimes go for 2 when it shouldn't. Of course, sometimes that's subjective.
I hate to tell you this, Kerry. There's some professional coaches in real life who do the same thing.
I know.
Yeah.
That's just it. And another thing I tell you. So sometimes the quarterback runs out of bounds on a sack with 1:20 left in the game. And I'm trying to make it so he doesn't do that very much. But then I'm thinking, but some doofuses do that. So
yes, they do.
So what I have to do is I'm going to look at his leadership rating.
There you
I
go.
was wondering if you're going to say
And if he's
that.
a
Yeah.
good quarterback, he's going to, in most cases, try to avoid that sack in the last few minutes. Now you can't go too far and say, well, no sacks, right, in the last 2 minutes. So, but I'm going to really try to make it so those guys who really shine will throw it away better and more often, you know. So it's a tweaking game, right? But I think we're doing some really good stuff here.
I think each version that I've been able to play, and I was telling Mike in the truck when we were offline, the first version of this game I played, I think it was 2015 on my Kindle.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when I went to Steam for Ha-Habs, I was looking for a football game. I came across it again. I didn't get it that immediate time because it was a few years later. Because I did enjoy it. I was like, oh, I wish there were teams. And,
Right.
and I picked it up still and I played. And I said, like I told Mike in the truck, I play Call of Duty Zombies and people make maps. And it just dawned on me. Well, let me click on to see this community thing. Oh my God, there are NFL seasons.
Yeah.
And there I think it was the 100 teams, which that was good enough for me. I was like, this is great. And then there's every now again, let me tell the people who are watching now and later. Every season from 1940 in the NFL to the present, this year, you can play along. You can make the decisions. Are you better than the guy you think's a moron on the sidelines? You probably are. So you can play along. But there's USFL. Are we still going to have the USFL season?
It's already done. Yep.
And there's some other. There is a World Football League, which is kind of fun. Not the exact, because you kept New York. There were some teams you kept from, which I like.
I made it so that it was the teams that started the season.
Yes.
That was a messed up league, man. They were teams that were changing locations during
That's
the season.
That's a wild. The World Football League.
Yeah,
that is wild.
Ken
Stabler was actually supposed to go there, and they took out an injunction to stop him from playing, or a court order.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff going on back then in the 70s.
Yeah. But there's also a generic college. Okay, let's get to this. When you purchase the game, it comes with a generic NFL season and a generic college season. All the college teams, but with fictional players.
Right.
And modifications to some of their names.
And modifications with some of their names.
Right.
That being said, to our knowledge, someone is working on the college version. So there might be a really big surprise really soon. And someone is also working on a Canadian football version.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So and will there be 3 downs in the Rouge?
Well, the game does already allow 3 downs.
Right.
3 downs is there.
Toggle.
Yeah.
It's built into the
in the rules
in the game engine if you want to add that as part of the rules. So you can go 3 downs.
Yeah. But no Rouge.
No Rouge, and the field's still going to be 100 yards.
Awesome. That's all right. You know what?
Exactly. It's fine. You know. But you could put the goalposts on the goal line.
Yes, that's added this year.
That's
cool.
Thing. So
there is one thing in reference to that though, is that's a league rule. So if it's part of the season, all the goalposts will be on the line. That's the one thing that with the NFL 100 that was built. And by the way, the NFL 100 now this season and from now on is going to be the actual NFL 100.
There's teams from
removed filler teams because they were before 1950. No, because we could do no face mask. I was like, you know what? It's a one-time thing. I know I'm going to have some teams. I only have like 13 players. Let me actually build it. And Lee and Dream Teams, they did the artwork. And like the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, it's like, oh my God, this looks incredible. So I was like, I have to do it. The only thing is the teams that don't have the face masks in those leagues won't. The teams that did will. But
I love it.
The only thing is it's the rule. You can't have those old teams with the field goals at the goal line, and everybody else have them at the back of the end zone. It's all or nothing. It's,
Yeah, you
it's
have
either
one rule
one or
set.
the other because that's a
can you
rule
set that?
set.
Can you set that in the beginning? Can you change that?
Yes, and you
So
can
once
change
you
it during
set
the
it-
game, and you can change it later on. So if you're actually just playing a team that's hosting on their
Could you
field, you can go and modify the
Yeah, you can edit the
league,
league,
and you
right?
go, just for right now, I'm going to do this, and then it
Yeah,
would
so
be
each game, like say if the team from the 20s or the 30s, right, or whatever, even the 60s, they're the home team. You could go in and say, I want, because we're playing at home, I want the goalposts on the goal line.
you have to modify the rules at that point. And then you could go back and relearn the
But
whatever
that's
rules you
fairly
have.
easy.
Yes, but when you're playing a single season from, was it before 1974, where they were at the goal, it's already going to be learning the
Right.
mod, so you don't have to worry
But
about it.
again,
It's just
if
if you're mixing teams from
right,
different
if
eras.
you have to understand, folks, what he's saying is the 100 teams are from different eras. Some eras had the goalposts on the goal line hung over, and the other ones obviously are back.
Everybody before 74.
Yeah, before 74.
Yep.
Quick, Kerry, what are you? And then we're gonna go. You know what? We'll start with Kerry. What are you most excited about this version?
Oh boy.
Or just share a few things.
All right, a couple of things. One, I love the new artwork. You can see more detail. You can. I just think it looks so much sharper, and the work that these guys did on those past real teams, I just think it looks great. I also love the TV mode. Now the TV mode is going to be confusing to people.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Let me just bring up something with that.
Yeah.
Holy cow! So I played the Lions against the Cowboys. Sorry, I beat your Cowboys. I love Billy Sims, so I got the chance.
Hey.
And he fumbled three times.
He fumbled. I saw that game.
But at the end, I simmed the other game because I just didn't have the heart to play as the Jets.
Yeah.
Unless it's Joe Namath, I ain't doing it. So, and I was like, and I never done that before in this new version because I just play, right? I'm like, it says, do you want to reveal? I went, no. You get to watch the highlights without knowing who wins.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I agree. I've done that. I enjoy that mode. And this reminds me, I'm I'm just a coder. Now, I design too, but these guys, Mike and Lee and John, Dream Teams, came to me, I forget when it was, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe longer, I lose track of time. And they're the ones that came and said, hey, can we work with you to create some leagues? So I had to think, well, how am I going to do this? And then later they said, instead of hard coding the schedules, could you write it so that you could read the schedules from CSV files? And I thought, what a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? And so, I love the fact that I can go play. Of course, my favorite teams are from the 70s. So I can go pick any team, 75, 77, whatever. And I can play that actual schedule.
No.
And see the names. And now, because of the work these guys did with adding photos and everything, and then I don't know if people know this yet or not, but you get an MVP at the end of the game.
Yes, that was another really cool thing. I can quickly show you.
Yeah.
As
I do have to note that the pictures. I got permission last year I approached one of the modders for another game, 2nd and 10, and told him that I wanted to use his mod as a starting point, which is the vast majority of pictures for this game. Do I have his permission? I said, if I don't, I'm honestly going to go just start clipping and getting the artwork myself. After a few weeks, he actually responded, yeah, you can go ahead and use it. And I actually own a copy of Pro Strategy Football. So
cool.
I said, what I will do is I will put you in the credit on the README that you gave, because it's like 90% of it. But we have built off of that since we did it a year or two ago. And last year, any new picks that I got for this game, I actually emailed. I don't know if you used them, but hi, Dave. I emailed them to that modder and said, "Here's what I have. Just I'm sharing with you. You know, we're all part of the gaming community. Here's what I have for the game. You can put it in yours." So
now this is what Kerry was talking about. This is very cool. This was just added pretty recent in the whole process of 2023. So
Right.
Joe Ferguson, and I watched. I have to tell you this again. We can show you. We're going to go through. You can direct me where you want to go and stuff. But I was so ecstatic. If you just go to the last stream to the end, I'm so okay. I was like giddy as a schoolboy because I was like a little kid on Christmas. This is awesome. You can actually sim it. Don't reveal the score, and you can watch the highlights.
Yeah.
And if it's a close game, I mean, you can kind of figure out if it's a blowout. You go, well, those guys ain't winning. But when it was a close, you sit there. If you had told me Buffalo was going to win this game when I was watching the highlights after watching the Arkansas rifle misfire over and over again, I would have said no. But he pulled it together and they won. So this is really cool. It shows you the MVP. And again, here in case you're new to Pro Strategy Football, let me just go back for a second.
Hey,
Let's go to that.
Hey, Al, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Go back one. Now, something else that's new this year that I think is pretty cool is you can set the starting month for a league. So let's say you're going to play. What's a league that starts in March? Is that the USFL?
Yes.
Yeah. So, if you want to play USFL, you say, my season starts in March. And the game, and this is the first year it's done this, actually sets the weather based on the actual week of the year. So right here, you see that it's late December. And the other thing is, it might be really cold. And in the past, you couldn't tell it was cold unless you saw snow. But now you can see it's cold because they're wearing long sleeves.
That's right.
And also, teams have individual snow chants. So I forget who, Cincinnati, somebody may have a real high snow chance. So in December or January, they've got a good chance of that. And kudos to Lee going through and setting the snow chance for all these teams. So that's something else I thought was pretty cool.
I got the National Weather Service data.
That's new to this version.
Yeah, it is. And so you see right there,
weather conditions. And you could still, if you want, you could change the weather conditions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like if you want to have a snow game, which is fun. Who doesn't like a snow game?
Oh yeah, I do.
The Dolphins don't like a snow game. I don't care.
No.
I like
Jacksonville.
Neither do the Cowboys, right, Kerry?
Yeah.
Leon Lett.
Oh my God. I remember that was on Thanksgiving Day.
I remember watching that.
Oh my gosh.
No, Leon, no.
Don't touch the ball.
And the announcers went like they were all in unison. Leon Lett.
Leon Lett.
Dave Gardner's asked this before. And so it's going to block you for a second, Kerry. I apologize.
Yeah,
Dave Gardner says, I need to be able to put everything on my D drive. My C drive doesn't have enough space. Now, I know on Steam, I direct all my games to my D drive, but when you make your change, like your seasons, when you do all that stuff, it goes to my C drive along with the photos.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that a bit. I'll move that up on my list of priorities. Because he's asked that before, and I think Mike in the truck had answered that or tried to answer that before.
Well, I have mentioned that to Kerry of Dave's concern.
And another thing for everyone watching or watching later, Kerry and his crew, as I like to call it, are some of the are very nice people. They listen and they try to take the things that are told to them and bring them, if possible, to fruition in the game. Not everything's possible in every game. Right. Sometimes you just have to, you can't do it. It can't be done. But they have an open mind and open ear to suggestions. And a lot of times that's how the game has gotten better, through whether it's Mike's suggestions, Lee's suggestions, or Kerry coming up with, or me saying something like, hey, can you do this? Or the skin tones. I remember I said it would be really cool if we had the proper skin tones. I don't know. For me, it was fun. And to see that.
Fun. I love that.
I really enjoy it. And Mike in the truck will tell you, click, 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 click.
It was. If I did my math right, it was over 100,000 players. That
100,000
it was
players.
over. I
Thank you.
remember we're going from 1940 to now.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
But here's what I did, and I asked Kerry to do this, and he did it, and it helped a lot. Was, can you have me set when the game was in beta? It still is. All skin tones as dark tone or light tone, just blanket. So what I did was I blanketly went, for starters, light toned skin for late 70s, early 80s, because those tended to have more numbers. And then from the 80s on forward, it was about a mix. And now it's more dark complected individuals in the league. So I would go with the odds and go the darker tone, the lighter tone, depending on the decade of the generation we were talking about. And I was able to go through it much faster, but I would do, I would try to do a season a day. And I
Wow.
was pulling my hair out. Now, remember, we're talking 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010. So we're talking 80 years plus the compilation league. So
Can you believe that?
I was devoted to try to pull this off, and and I'm
You
sure I
two
made
guys.
mistakes. I'm sure I slipped. I'm sure I did. So I
Man.
mean, it was the first attempt at doing this.
Here's it. You know what? People, we're human. We make mistakes, but you did a great. Everyone's done a great job on this game.
Yeah.
Jamie, again, I apologize when I bring up these things. It covers Kerry for a moment. I apologize. So
That's
Jamie,
okay.
SGJ, Jamie, do games say from the 40s and early 50s limit formations and play types from that era? They do to a point,
Right.
because Jamie, and they'll explain it also. And again, the game is already, it's originally, Kerry's doing a lot more with this game than, and Lee and Mike and the truck and the dream team and everybody, than the game was designed to do. So you have to have at least, is it 2 passing formations or 1?
One.
You have to have at least one.
And a passing formation is literally a passing formation.
Yeah.
Maybe down the line they could do something with saying let the passing formation come from a run formation, possibly. But yes, there is still you can go in and
you might have you might have twins. You might have 3 wideouts for a team from the 40s.
When
and
I
50s.
do it,
you
when
have
I
to
play,
have one.
When I play, I try to limit what I do. But you know what? It's a game. It's a game. Play to have fun. Again, not every game's for everyone. I think this is a fabulous game. It's so much fun just to look at the helmets, the uniforms. They're beautiful. The strategy in this game is phenomenal. Some people say there's no strategy. I politely disagree with you.
Yeah, I don't get that at
you're
all.
wrong.
That's all the game is.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's supposed to be that way.
coaching
And to further the 40s and 50s formations, there's a series of formations on both offense and defense. Now, defense, you're going to have a passing. You have to have at least one passing defense. So you might be stuck with the nickel, and didn't exist back then. But you know what we did is when we made those decades, we actually even looked at specific teams in some instances. And when you download, so if you download 1945, I'm just making up a season. The plays that were commonly used in 1945 are already the default for the individual teams. It's defaulted that way. Now you can go in and you can change it. You can actually click and open up the whole playbook and go shotgun and pistol if you wanted to, but they're set up to be as much as we realistically could. You know, you're going to have 3 running backs in the backfield. You know, that is an option. Jumbo packages, stuff like that. So that was, you know, when we're putting in new formations, we looked at all of that, and there are some unique ones like Dallas during the Tom Landry era has a flex defense, and they're the only team to have the flex defense option checked on the mods. Unless we slipped, they're the only ones to do it because we're trying to. When you download it, the idea is for a mod.
The Saints did too.
The Saints did? No, I wasn't aware of that. What year?
79 and 80.
They played the flex?
They did.
Wow.
Very good.
Go back
So
and watch.
I made the 80 mod. Now I hope I didn't mess that up.
No,
'cause
it's
I don't think
okay. It's
You
okay.
can click on it anyway. It doesn't matter.
I only know that because I went back and watched. I think it was a 79 game I saw on YouTube between them and the Raiders on Monday night, and they were in the flex. And I think it was
Wow.
because their head coach was Dick Nolan, who was a former assistant under Landry.
Yeah.
So he brought the flex defense over with him to New Orleans.
In the
Here's
Super
an
Bowl
important
in
question.
'89, Denver actually had the 3 running backs set up in
Yeah.
the Super Bowl, and they were saying they did it once, and the announcers were like, "Wow, we haven't seen this in a long time."
Yeah.
But I mean,
But-
I don't know if that was built
But I
in
do
for
want
the
to
team.
make
But
sure.
the idea is, when a mod, you download the mod. We don't want you to, we're human. We want to make a mistake. But if you download a season, you should, and hopefully drop it in, go, and it feel like it was in real life.
I have to honestly.
That's what we're hoping for. And you can go in and tweak it all you want. Hey, if you download it for free, knock yourself out. If you want to increase a rating here, decrease a rating there,
That's right.
go ahead.
That's
I
right.
mean, we're giving you a
Now,
template that we've
again,
tweaked around to try to make it feel real.
every season, I'm sorry to say this, people, you're going to have to go out of pocket, like not even go in your pockets. It's free. Every season is free. You download.
Lint in your pockets.
I provided the link for the site, which is Mike in the Truck site, where all the seasons. Now the 2023 for the 2023 game, the seasons aren't up yet because it's not released. But as soon
won't
as
be until release day.
Right.
Right.
And you can be able to play the 2022 season like that. Also, a very important question Todd brings up. Will Al ever have input on how the field goal kickers are handled? Oh, my God. My field goal, it doesn't matter who I have. I forgot who I had another game. I'm sitting there going, the guy, it's like 85%. And people go,
man.
Al, you really fake field goals a lot. Have you watched? It doesn't matter. I've had guys miss at 85%, 92%. I'm sitting there going, I got this game one, and like, you, Rafael Septien, you piece of poo.
You want me to make, I don't know if you saw, Slovic and I have been doing the NFL 100, and we had the 71 Cowboys and the 03 Patriots. And the Patriots were winning, and it might have been 4th down, and they had to go, Dallas went for it, and Roger Staubach should have been sacked. He escaped, and he ran for a first down, drove them down the field, took the lead.
Did Septien miss the field goal?
No. So
That'd
they
be
were
Mike
up
Clark.
by 1 point.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So there's like a minute left. Here comes Tom Brady. They march down the field. So all they have to do is kick a field goal. They kicked it. What was the name of the kick? Vinatieri. It's a mid-range field goal. It goes wide left.
I remember watching
flag, and it's against Dallas.
Yes.
So he gets closer.
And he missed again.
So Vinatieri kicks, and it's wide right as time expires. So Vinatieri went wide left and then wide right. It was
Oh my
hilarious.
God.
And this is a man who basically doesn't miss. So Dallas won the game.
I feel like I was
They
there.
advanced.
Butterfly
Oh
effect.
my God. Hey, I do want to make sure that last guy that asked that question about the formations.
Yes.
We were addressing a lot of things, and he may not have picked up the fact that it's probably better than 90% of what you want, because you can run jumbo, you can run the T
Yes, you
formation, you can run full house, or if you want to fast forward to today, of course, he was asking about back then. So yeah, back then on defense, you can run the 5-2. So
yeah,
and
there is. Oh,
yeah. So if you don't want your team,
like Kerry said, pretty much all the formations that they used are there, and there's just some slight differences because you have to have them. Sorry.
Yeah,
Kerry.
you can turn them. You can turn most of them off. If you want your league to just run a 5-2 defense, and I think you do have to have a nickel, and then on offense you could maybe have them run full house, and then you would have to have one passing. Which I think you might be able to do.
We looked all this up last year when these new formations were being added. And I went through I remember sending a massive email. I went through this whole history thing. When the 4-3 came into existence, when the 3-4 came into existence, and when the 5-2, and then who used what. Like some teams actually had the nickel in like 1960. I think maybe Kansas City had it. there were some unique things, and like the Chiefs used a shotgun briefly, not just Dallas, even though Dallas started for like 1 year.
It's a very different looking shotgun, though.
Yeah, but it's things like that.
didn't
We
know
did
that.
research.
Yeah,
So
more like a punt formation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Once we did that research, when we built the individual seasons that you can download for free, we tried to go in and every individual one of those put in what offense or defensive scheme they actually used. So we were trying. So again, we're just trying to make it so you download it, don't have to think about it. It's going to be ready to go. And we're human again. We can make mistakes.
And again, like Mike, Lee, and Cares, you can go in and tweak it.
You want.
You can also there's Legend Sports Universes here. He does a whole fictional teams, but with real players. Like he created his own. God bless him, because it takes a lot.
It's a lot of work.
Like a fantasy draft sort of, and he does a marvelous job. So, but you can go in, you can make your high school teams if you wanted, because the game.
Somebody did make high school one.
I saw that.
Year.
It was pretty cool.
That's right.
I saw. But the game comes with a generic NFL season with fictional players and generic college with fictional players. Right. You can go in, and again, Little Bird told me there might be someone working on college and someone working on the Canadian Football League. So we might be pleasantly surprised. I'm sure we will. But you can go in, and I've made college teams with just going in and changing and typing. You can do what you want. It's a marvelous game. Strategies there. It's numeric. 1 being bad, 9 being good. You don't need 4,000 numbers to figure out something. 1 bad, 9 good, not 2. 9.
Unless you're talking fumble percentage.
Oh, God. Billy Sims, 3 fumbles in that playoff game.
Well, he only has 3% possibility of fumbling, and he did plenty of it, more like 30%. It happens.
He does. It does. He fumbled inside the 2.
Oh, that would hurt.
It hurt.
Yeah.
I didn't want to call Billy a bad name, so I didn't, because I love Billy Sims.
It's funny. There were some great players back then that were fumblers. We forget now, but Tony Dorsett in his first couple of years was a fumbler. Big time.
Another marvelous thing, and then I have the 81 season loaded up, but we can go back to show what a few things, whatever you think are important to show. But what I'd like to quickly get to is, let me go back. I keep going to the wrong screen over here because I'm looking at it's this one here. So you can, and I'm going to show you this because I think we're going to sim one of these games.
Oh, can I say one thing about this,
yes,
Al?
Before you hit it, Al, hang on a second.
I was going to say this. What I love about this sim, and this doesn't always happen, but you'll notice if anyone is familiar with the actual 1981 season, those are the exact same matchups in the AFC as it was in real
Yes,
life.
they are.
That's the Epic in Miami, and that's the Cincinnati Buffalo game. Yeah.
Let me go back. Too far back.
When I saw that last week, I was like, "Holy cow, that is uncanny."
Watch this. Dallas and Philadelphia made the playoffs in '81, except it's Dallas winning the division in actuality, and Philadelphia being the wild card. Okay. Now, Detroit overachieved, but Detroit was 7-9 or 8-8, 8-8, I believe. I'd have to go back and pull it up. We did this when I did the stream.
Yeah, it was
and
Tampa,
Minnesota. I think Tampa won the division.
Yeah, I think Tampa was the division winner that year.
And again, they didn't win with a big record, so they underperformed. San Francisco underperformed but won the division, just like they did. So you pretty much had 1, 2. I think Minnesota made the playoffs. They were the second wild card. Was there 2 wild cards? Yes. No.
Yeah, there's 2. There's 2 wild cards back then. I think the 81 it was Dallas
I did this during
and LA.
The stream. I'm just trying to do it off the top of my head now. Now, in the AFC, 3 teams came out of the AFC East. And in this sim, 3 teams came out of the AFC East.
Yep.
Cincinnati won the Central. They obviously kicked butt in this sim, 15-1. I want to say they were 12-4.
12
they were 12-4. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. Thank you. And then San Diego won their division. So the game results to me are highly accurate or within the realm of probability.
Yeah, I can
Because you
tell
don't want the exact
Plausible.
thing.
roll through. Do you want me to roll through the records? We're starting.
Yes, if you want. Let's do that.
Okay. Dallas went 12-4 in real life. They won the division. Philadelphia went 10-6 and was a wild card. Okay, the Giants went 9-7 in real life. Washington went 8-8. St. Louis went 7-9.
Okay, stop right there. You can see where the difference comes. So if Philadelphia picks up, I'm not saying necessarily from them, but Philadelphia picks up a few more wins, which means someone else is going to lose. And that's what happened there. But that's pretty good.
Well, you got to realize in real life, you get one shot at something, but in games, you know, you can simulate this season 100 times.
That's right.
And I mean, I would hate it to have a game that always exactly mirrors what happened in real life.
Yeah.
Because then I don't need the game. I'll just go look. That's boring. But if it's within a range,
Absolutely.
You know, that's what I want.
One of my favorite things to do, I don't want to play the top-notch team. I like to play a team, or even when I play a Patriot season, except for the two Patriot seasons I play the most, 76 and 74. One Plunkett, they were 7-7 in 74, and 76 was just a phenomenal team, and they just caught a bad break.
That's a great team.
But normally I like to take a team 8-8, 7-9, 9-7. Probably the best team I played record-wise when I did the Joe Namath, what if he played? That was one of my funnest projects for the Rams. And people are like, well, he only played 4 games. Yes, I understand that. But this is what if Joe Namath played the whole year for the Rams?
Right.
It was fun.
They wouldn't have done as well as you did.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. People are like, why do you throw bombs on first down? Because they don't expect it.
Exactly.
You got to do it with them. It was a lot of fun. But that's how much I love this game. This game has brought me so much joy. Each version. So what about you want to go through all of it or just the division winners? Or
it's up to you. What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
So let's do the Central.
All right. Tampa Bay in real life won the division at 9-7.
Okay, 7-9.
Okay.
Plausible.
Detroit was next at 8-8.
9-7.
Green Bay 8-8.
8-8.
Minnesota 7-9.
So Minnesota picks up 3 more wins. They did not make the playoffs, obviously, that year. That was my faux pas.
Chicago 6-10 in real life.
So again, you can see where wins are picked up and other team takes losses.
Yeah.
You could go back and look to see how many close games and things like that. And I did that with who did I think I did that with I don't remember who it was. I think I looked at the Philadelphia and Dallas one. And again, they were both in the playoffs. So now San Francisco, what they go 13-3.
13-3.
They won the division. Next is Atlanta, and they went 7-9, and that's exactly what they did here.
Yep.
The Rams went 6-10 in real life.
Two more wins, and New Orleans stunk.
And they were 4-12 in real life.
Yeah. So that's pretty close. Again, that's the AI. So sometimes there have been complaints the AI or it's not realistic. It's pretty realistic.
Hey, can I jump in there real quick?
Absolutely.
Because one of the funniest things, and sometimes I've given up trying to convince people otherwise. I will say it again right here. My game never cheats. Why would I want it to cheat? Because I want to enjoy playing it too. Right. So the very fact that sometimes it does something that you go, why would it do that? Well, because it doesn't cheat. And so sometimes I cannot predict. You know, I try to improve it every year. And thank goodness, I love it when people give me great detailed feedback and say, hey, it acted nuts in the last 2 minutes. And one of the things we added last year or the year before was the ability to dump out the play-by-play. So when they say it acted nuts in the last 2 minutes, they'll actually send me the play-by-play, and I can look and I can go, oh, look at that. And frequently it'll let me see a pattern, and I go in there and then I, go into a debugging mode and I set that pattern, and then I step through the code and I go, oh, I see what the computer's doing here. I programmed it to look at this, but I didn't think about this situation. And so, it's a iterative process. And so, one, again, that I think that ought to show the AI doesn't cheat. I had one guy get furious at me last year because his team had like 4 fumbles. That doesn't happen. I'm thinking
Yes, it does.
it
Sure it
does.
does.
And did you see the Atlanta Falcons play the Patriots in the Super Bowl? I mean, things happen, man.
Yeah.
If they didn't happen, the game would be boring, right?
So I just want to get to the chat. So by accident, I'm going to cover up Kerry. I apologize.
No, that's all right, man.
So Legends of Sports Universe, my criticism aside, I 100% agree with that. I don't want every player and team performing exactly like Diamond Mine Baseball. I don't get the point, frankly.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
SGJ Jamie, standings look well within the confines of probabilities, especially with football and the impact of turnovers.
Yep.
And remember, there's injuries in this game.
Injuries. Yeah, that's huge.
There's injuries. This
I forgot
isn't
about
as
that.
played.
Great
Yeah.
point.
So if
Injuries
Montana got hurt week 1, and they went 6-10, you're going, well, hey, wait a minute. Well, Montana. I'm just being, it happens.
Yeah, I've run tons of sims where the best player in the league gets hurt, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got
Changes
so
everything.
mad when Roger Staubach went out like in the second game of the season.
Yeah.
Man.
Clint Longley. It's not going to take
I
him to
made
the Super Bowl.
with the 0-1 Steelers, and I was playing the Packers, and I was a big Bettis fan. I'm like, Jerome Bettis is going to have a great game. He went 2 plays, and he's gone for the game. I'm like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that was it. I couldn't play. I mean, I was all revved up. I'm taking him to the Super Bowl and early, blah, 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 blah. And he got hurt 2 plays in. They edged out Green Bay, but still it was like, oh, man. The whole point of me playing this was see if I could take Bettis to the Super Bowl. I did, but he got hurt, and it was over.
And, we try to keep the game very flexible, right? So if people say, well, I don't want to have injuries, you can turn them off. I like having them on because it does give you some extra.
Adds an element.
Yeah. Now I do need to probably add some sliders in the game that lets folks tweak that, but that you only have so many hours in a day, so
that's right.
Get there eventually.
So now Miami, Buffalo, New York, they all made the playoffs. In real life, they did. Okay. So let's move on. Cincinnati won the division.
I wanted to tell you the where do you hear the records?
Okay.
Real life, Miami, 11-4-1.
11-5.
New York Jets, 10-5-1.
10-6.
Buffalo Bills, 10-6.
That's pretty good.
Baltimore
that's better than a
and
hand
New
grenade and
England.
horseshoe.
Baltimore and New England both went 2-14 in real life, so New England overachieved.
New England overachieved.
Yeah, they did.
That's because Big Al was cheering for him.
I was cheering hard.
Cincinnati, 12-4 in real life.
15-1.
They overachieved a little. Pittsburgh, 8-8.
6-10.
Houston, 7-9.
9-7.
Cleveland, 5-11.
4-12.
Okay. San Diego, 10-6.
11-5.
Denver, 10-6.
8-8.
Kansas City, 9-7.
8-8.
Oakland, 7-9.
8-8.
Seattle, 6-10.
7-9. So what you can see from that is it was a competitive division, right?
Yeah.
This shows
like in real life.
And this shows in the sim it was a competitive division. And that's all I asked for.
That's right.
I mean,
that's the one thing that we try to get as close as possible. The ratings, it's not a number cruncher. So it's not going to be like Peyton Manning always throws 68% and gets 45 touchdowns every season, which is what those number crunchers try to do. They're trying to make it so that happens. This is ratings based, and we try to get him to around 68% and however many touchdowns. We're never going to get it right because it's not a number cruncher. It's not. I mean, it isn't. We base the rating. Hi, Bernard.
Hi, Bernard.
We base the ratings off of real stats, but we're never going to get it right. And there are so many variables to consider in a game like this that, I mean, you're never going to get it perfect. It's
sometimes
impossible.
we do get it right. Sometimes we do get it right.
Well, this season was pretty respectable.
Right.
We built this particular season. That was very close and respectable.
But like you said, Kerry, if you could sim this 100 times, you're going to get 100 different results.
That's right.
There's injuries, just like we were saying, injuries, penalties,
Weather.
missed field goals, right, Al? I mean,
And you're going to get 100 different opinions. It's like if you get your car inspected by a state inspector, or if you're looking at a house and you have a home inspector come in, you can have 10 different state inspectors inspect your car, and you can have 10 different home inspectors inspect the house. You're going to get 10 completely different results. Some guys are going to find something wrong on X, Y, and Z. The others aren't going to see it, but they're going to find something wrong on A, B, and C. It's
No
the same
game-
kind of thing. You're
No game
never
is
going to get.
perfect.
Yeah, you're not.
And I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to name the game. I play it. I played it on my channel. I love it. I'll just tell you this. 1966 Notre Dame did not run 3 guys in the backfield. And this game had 3 guys in the backfield. That's all I'm saying. And this is one of those, they do everything right. Well, I'm just telling you that.
Hey,
and I love the game. I play it. So I'm just saying.
Nobody's perfect.
Let's show something else.
Yes.
Let's bring up, click on stats for this game, even though the Cowboys lost. And
maybe the Lions had 12 men on the field, Kerry.
Quiet. I changed the rules.
Click on Detroit. Let's just step through.
And here's a new thing. I love the photos will load up.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
And before this year, not every stat screen was sortable. So I had to spend I think it was a couple of weeks making sure that every single stat screen or leader screen could be sorted. Now, click the right arrow. I want to show. So one of the things we added here was fumbles lost. And this is also tracked in the leaders. But you can see that Billy Sims, he had 2 fumbles, and one of those was lost. And that is a tracked,
He actually fumbled 3 times. He actually lost 2, but there's a flag that saved me.
Good.
Oh.
Now,
so remember 3 fumbles. That makes sense now.
Now go over to defense. You can either right arrow, you can do that. Yeah. Now in defense, we now track, in addition to just tackles, how many tackles were for a loss or for safety. And one of the things I want to show here is now in general, linemen will get more tackles unless the ball is downfield. So for example, if a guy is tackled at the line of scrimmage or within a yard or 2 or behind the line of scrimmage, most of the tackles are going to be by defensive linemen. But if he's 3 or 4 yards downfield, and now blitzers will also get tackles, of course. But if he's 3 or 4 yards downfield, those linemen aren't as fast as linebackers. So the linebackers will get more of those. And then once he gets past that, I was looking at different years. Many years, like a strong safety is a leading tackler. So we've really improved the tackles here. And click on sacks. Of course, this is one game. This really ain't going to show you anything. So if we were to look at leaders for the whole league later, you could see that the tackles and sacks are much better than any previous season.
And the other thing I like with the stat package this year, which you've always had a good stat package, you put the leaders at the top now.
Yeah, and you can click on any category. So, for example, if you say, well, who led in tackles for a loss?
Yeah.
You can click on that and you say, 3 of them had, and the rest didn't qualify. See, nobody qualified.
So it doesn't show it. So the one thing I wish, I thought of it as I was playing, and I never mentioned, but when there's a fumble on the field, I wish when you're playing, it would say who recovered the fumble. Now it's easy enough to click on to say, oh, it was so-and-so. And I did that with, where was the fumble recovered? Dallas had the fumble. So if I went Dallas here, it was Michael Downs had the fumble recovery of Billy Sims fumble inside the 2.
Okay, I'll look at that.
Again, it's just something, if possible, in the future. It's just something I always thought it'd be nice to know who recovered the fumble.
Right.
Just something. That's all.
No, it's good.
The other, really, again, the photos are new. There's some new ratings too. We can look at those. But I just want to show this because to me, and then we can go wherever you want. Let's go back. Is there anything else you want to do? Go look in here?
No, soon I'd like to pull up a career if you have one to show people how GM works. In fact, we would start one from scratch, and
Yes, we can do that. We
it
can
won't
start
take
from
more than,
scratch.
I
You
think
want to
it'll
do
take
that
2 or
next?
3 minutes. Yeah, and we'll do it real quick because I already know I'm going to make a video that does this.
So you will be making a few videos like how to.
Yeah, they're going to be really short. I'm not real
Excellent.
good at this, and like one of them is going to be GM mode, and it's going to show you exactly what I'm about to show you, which is real fast. So, yeah, go back all the way back, and then we'll. So click on career play and pick any, pick any. Yeah. Oh, you want to get? Yeah, you can pick 81. That's good.
So this will be a totally different. This will not. When you do this, this will not interfere with the other season I have going.
No, in fact, I don't know if you know this. You can have 5 careers going on with the 81 NFL if you want,
And you
can
could just
have
you could also have multiple just 81 seasons, correct?
exactly. That's right.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to do that. And now this is new. This first screen is new, and this is where every year. So in
Now,
previous years,
so this is career mode.
this is career mode,
Okay.
and believe it or not, when somebody first asked me about career mode, I thought, well, what is that? Because that's just never been where my focus has been.
Right,
It's been
right.
more the coaching, the games, the individual season. Well, so this year, in previous years, if you edited the career, you were editing it for all time. Now you can edit it every season. So I can have a team named St. Louis in a season, and then 5 seasons later change their name to Arizona. And if I go back and watch one of those early games, they're called St. Louis. And
That's
I might
pretty cool.
move the goalpost. I might have the goalpost at the goal line for the first 3 years of my career, and then change it to move it to the back. And again, if I go back and watch a old game, I'll see them at the line. So every year is distinct, and you can change the name of the championship game every year. Now, what I want you to do is click on the team owners here, the second button down on the left. So this allows you to have GM mode or commissioner mode, and you can do it even if you don't set this screen. But pick 3 teams that you want to be owned by humans. We already got Dallas. Leave them alone. And then
All
pick
New England and Pittsburgh in honor of Mike in the Truck.
There you go.
Do you
And
want
now-
a team, Lee?
Chicago.
There you go.
Alphabetical order, Al.
Alphabetical order.
I was really torn on how to lay that out. I decided on alphabetical, and if people
No, this is good. It's just Al sometimes doesn't function well.
now the red buttons mean we have to address those. So click on that top left red button.
This
We
one?
have to- yeah, that one, because we have to pick a schedule. So click on select schedule and load a custom schedule. And if you can find the 81 schedule, let's pick it, but it's really up to you.
Right here.
All right. So click that and select it and say, yeah, we want to load that season or start that season. And then when it comes back, we'll do one more thing. Click on the other red button, because I wanted to force people to make sure they're looking at this, because it's real easy to forget to turn these on or off. And that's good enough. You can hit all done now. And let's go. And now you're about to see why it's important, why it's helpful to now click on the top right button where it says the schedule. And now at the bottom, click on simulate games and say, I only want to simulate those games that don't involve a human.
So
So
sim computer matchups only.
yeah. And see what that does is, let's say you've got 3 or 4 friends right now. I mean, Lee's got Chicago, Mike's got Pittsburgh, you've got New England. So you notice, because maybe Lee says, hey, I want to coach Chicago. Now, you can still sim it. You can say, no, I'm not going to let you, Lee.
Right.
But that's one of the things it lets you do. So if you didn't want to have any human teams at all, you could do that. Or you could have just clicked on simulate all. But the other thing is, we're not going to do it right now, but if you were to get to the draft or free agency or any franchise player, In every one of those, you can actually step in and say, I'm going to choose the franchise player for the Jets, or I'm going to ask the computer to do it. You have that flexibility. So every phase of the career, you now have the flexibility to do as little or as much as you want.
So that's a quick look at career mode. Now for ha-has, I just want to
let's go coach it. Let's go coach the Chicago game or watch it.
All right. So
now, if you do both, you're watching it. And that's fine.
All right. We'll do it on we'll do it on expert, but we'll go a few plays and.
All right. Yeah. Let's do this. Click on go. And go ahead. Let's get it to the offensive screen or defense. So there's your new players. I think they look.
Now the animation again. We're doing this through StreamYard, but it still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So Moorhead's taking it to the sidelines. How do you feel about that return? You like
Lee, you okay with that?
I'm always surprised when I think about Emery Moorhead as a kick returner, but hey, whatever works.
Now, Lee, do me a favor. Click on the fedora at the bottom left.
Yep, this is the coach. I just want to say something. Some people go, I just want to play offense. You can do that. If we pick both teams, 1 and 2, you would then pick your offensive call and then just go suggest a play for me on defense and then
that's right. With it. But now go ahead and sim the rest of this quarter. Just click on that button right there, and we'll do it. So a whole quarter just flew by.
We're winning.
But it was actually played. I didn't know this, but one of the guys on my forum said, you realize other games don't do that. They give you very different results if you're watching it versus simulating. I was like, why would you do that? So I didn't know that. So mine actually, it plays every down. But now if you go to the studio, did we watch it? Yeah, click on go to the studio.
Go to the studio. This is cool.
Now, you can watch one or you can say, hey, follow all down at the bottom right if you want to do that. It's up to you, though. Yep.
So then it just gives you.
That's right.
That is cool.
It is.
That's new.
And something you can do is click on change layout because some people may say, I want them grouped differently. This lets you group them. I usually use the other one. So I usually use that one. But you can also,
I kind of like the first one.
I do too. And then you can also toggle between the name and the mascot. So that is TV mode. And if you click on that top left game, we can see what's going on there. Okay. So Steve Bartkowski, that guy had a cannon for an arm. I remember him.
I just have to say this again. My God, I get giggles and so happy just watching the old uniforms.
Me too.
And that's me.
Yeah, so this
look at if you watch carefully, you could tell that each player has their respective skin tone.
Good point.
On their arms and on their face.
Yeah.
So
click replay and then pause it so you can see what Mike was talking about. Click on pause. There you go. Pause it.
Well, that's having them all bunched up might not be the greatest
example.
Maybe go to a different play.
All right, let me go. Skip.
Yeah, I can see that the tailback there was black, and so here a couple of dark skin right there.
Yeah.
Andrews, Kane, Jenkins, Jackson, Miller, correct. Bartkowski, correct.
And again, it's possible we slipped. We only did over 100. I'm not making this number up. Over 100,000 of these because it's the same player for all the different years, but you had to do them individually, one at a time, every season. So
Andre Ford said,
"It took
this
me
is
months.
awesome.
It took me months
Thank you,
to
Andre.
do this.
I can't believe you did that.
Thank you, Mike in the truck.
Kudos, man.
Okay.
I
was pulling my hair out, man.
my eyes would have rolled in the back of my head.
I've got to ask a question of Mike and Lee. Do your wives hate me?
No, they hate me. She hates me.
Mike,
They don't know you.
I'm taking all the heat, Kerry.
I bet you have. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Here I am on a Friday night, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, when you're married with kids, you have no life anyway. At
She's
least
out
know,
with
that's
she's
my
out with her friends.
situation. So
So
there we
Good.
are.
Good.
So that's that. So we can go to any game. So I want to go see later game. Let's go
And
to
you
the
remember
Giants.
why they're-
That's not exciting.
And you remember why they're called a later game? Because we didn't simulate them yet.
Let's try this one. here.
Because you're the human
Ooh,
coach now.
rain.
That's why.
Yes. Love rain.
I do too. Look at that mud down there.
Yep. And look how there's dirt. See the dirt? That's
yep, that's the
Okay,
outfield.
can I interject for a second? Since we're the games in Cleveland and you've got the mud and all this. Those of you who played 2022, I never saw anyone ever post, and Lee and I were waiting. I talked to Lee and I said, can we put in Easter eggs
Yes.
in some of the seasons? So we went through a whole list of Easter eggs, and I'll give you an example. If you play in Philadelphia in 1968, this is a 22 version. I don't know if it's going to be on the 2023, but here's an example.
Some of them made it over, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you play in Philadelphia in 1968 and you're playing the 2022 game and it's snowing, somewhere on the top screen, as I think it's towards the right end
Is
zone,
Santa Claus being pelted with snowballs?
Santa Claus is running.
Oh my
From
gosh.
fans throwing snowballs at him.
Oh my
They're
gosh. that's
booing
horrible.
Santa Claus. That's an Easter egg. No one has ever said it. We've never seen anybody post Easter egg. Oh, look, if you play this season, here's another example. Since it's Cleveland. If you're playing in Cleveland in 2001, or is it's 2001?
It's sometime in the 2000s. I know
Yeah, I
that.
think it's 2001. And you're playing in Cleveland. The right end zone has fans throwing bottles onto the end zone.
Oh my
Bottle
gosh.
gate.
Oh my gosh.
So
And don't forget Foxborough with the snowplow.
We were trying to figure out how to do that.
there's no rules against that.
Well,
There's no rule against that at the
we
time.
were talking.
No.
If you're playing New England in '82, we were talking. Does Lee draw whatever the yard line was? Does he draw a clear path? And Lee's idea was, why don't I just put a snowplow by that yard line?
Oh my gosh.
It's there.
So
It's there.
Dolomite
No one's ever
asked,
said anything about an Easter egg. And we were waiting, and no one has caught an Easter egg, at least post about it.
Dolomite 73 asked, who forces a fumble is important stat too. So again, I like to see who's a fumble recovery, but I could see that too. That'd be nice if it could be worked in at some point. Like who forced the fumble, but
Yeah, I probably won't get that for this year because.
no, I absolutely understand.
But I love that idea. I didn't even think of that, and that's something we can do for next
So
year.
if you didn't hear, I want you to hear it. Someone suggested something in our chat from the community, and Kerry says, I love that idea. That's the wonderful thing about Kerry and his team here. They listen. If it can be done, it can be done. If it can't be done, they'll say, can't be done. We can't do it. We're sorry.
Well, someone suggested the other day when I posted the video, I made a video of simming a couple of teams from the NFL 100. I had TV mode. I just let Al announce part of the game. Chris Slovic, who has AM radio, he's the AM radio announcer. So there's actually more than one announcer. You can play the original game, Tom Landry announcing. The default is Al. That's TV. And Chris Slovic. Oh wow, Mark, was that bottle game?
All right,
well, if
Mark.
you have the 01, if you have last year's version and you play the 01 Cleveland Browns, you'll see bottles being thrown into the end zone. But so I was doing all that, and I had Chris Slovic, and I would play him doing audio. I actually ran his audio through a processor to make it sound tinny, so it sounds like you're listening to it off of an AM radio. But someone said it was great seeing this, but the problem is when I was showing off TV mode, you would hear Al every time there was a score. That's a touchdown. It was like every time. And he was like, is there a way to mix that up? To have it a different. And I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I'm going to mention that to the programmer. So
I remember what Andre's talking. Oh,
that's not a bad idea.
no, that's good. I remember what Andre Ford did. I remember this, Andre. RFK Stadium used to rock when the fans. I remember that.
Kind of hard to do that on a static field, though.
I was at a game I went to a game there in '82.
I guess you could stake the screen. I could do
It's exactly what it did. It was against the Cowboys, Kerry.
Oh man,
it was the regular season game, the only game the Redskins lost that year.
Wow.
And I remember my dad and I were in the end zone, and the Cowboys were winning the whole game, and then the Redskins started to mount a comeback, and the place just went completely berserk. Stadium was literally rocking under our feet, and then you know what happened?
No.
Cowboys came back.
Danny White faked a punt.
Oh my gosh.
And you could hear a pin drop.
No more rocking.
Like, oh, okay, well, I guess that rallies off.
Man.
So Gary asks, this might be a little more difficult, Gary. Individual team specific audio.
Actually, you would not believe how many hundreds of things we discuss every year. And these guys can tell you, I've got hundreds of ideas that are in list. And one of the things, and this year, we really, really wanted to improve sound effects and music, and just ran out of time because redesigning career to support GM mode and commissioner mode took months. The TV mode took at least a month. But yes, I agree with you. We want to have cheers. We want to have, so, I mean, heck, I'm a college fan. I want to hear the A&M cannon when someone scores. I want to hear Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech doesn't cheer anymore, but if they were to score, So
one thing I wanted to propose is, I mean, Al doing the call and Chris doing the call. We just went off of the existing audio that Kerry has for the play calls, and Al, spice it up by adding a little extra talking. I wanted to pitch for next year, have these guys redo the audio, but we literally have scripts, and we have, say, Al, each person, whoever does the audio, you're going to read, there are going to be 5 or 6 different versions of saying touchdown or interception or fumble, or 5 or 6. And if Kerry can do it, they'll all be named their respective name, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and maybe the audio is just randomly selected.
That way, you're not hearing the same.
But we have to be sure that however we script it, that if Al says something, it doesn't conflict when he's talking about a fumble and then it's first out, that it kind of is off. So, I mean, if that's a possibility, next year you can, the audio couldn't be, and I'm not talking about going mad in the way they do it, just chewing the fat and getting way off topic.
Right.
Just keep it consistent with the game. Just, like Monday Night Football, tell us what, back in the day, just tell us what's happening.
Yeah. And what someone else just was talking a minute ago, right now we have Al and we have Slovik. What if we had at least 4 or 5 or 10 or whatever versions of the commentary? Now, this is the simplified commentary. It's not what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Then it could vary game to game. I guess you wouldn't even need that many, just 3 or 4 to represent different stations. And I could have a setting in the game, because right now you choose which audio set you're listening to. Maybe I could eventually add something that says random. One game it's Al, another game it's Slovak.
And that might help with TV mode.
Yes.
Because just randomly go in between them. So it could be like different networks. Back in the day, like in the 70s, you had 2 different networks, one that had the NFC package and one that had the AFC package. And that way, if you had all the NFC home games, I'm being hypothetical by Al, and then the AFC would default to Chris, the way it is now. That would be kind of cool. I do have to say, and I mentioned this to Kerry, there is someone who was interested in doing play-by-play calls.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
I told you who it was, Kerry. He's the nephew of a super famous quarterback
I don't
that
remember.
I'll come out and say his name. His name is Chip Tarkenton. He's
Oh,
Fran
man.
Tarkenton's nephew.
Very cool. I do remember
I
now.
used to work with him in television, and he's a good man. He's a friend, and I mentioned this, and he's been completely slammed, but he was like, that actually sounds like it could be kind of fun. So he's up to it as a possibility. Not to take
Yep.
away from anybody else, Al. I don't want you to think anything, but I had swapped messages with him because he's been following my progress. He's actually been following my progress with Pro Strategy Football. He's a
Hey,
friend of mine on Facebook, and he sees it. He's like, how's everything going? He asks questions, and he was intrigued by this. If this is a possibility, he was
I
actually
would
intrigued by
love
it.
that. I mean,
That's so cool.
I'm a big Tarkin fan. Hey, Al, can I answer a few of these questions? I didn't realize they
Yeah,
were.
I just want to bring this up because again, this is one of the ones. So, World's Worst Gamers, very cool about the Easter eggs, great looking game. I just want players to perform closer to their real life stats. When that happens, I buy. Here's my opinion on that. And again, everyone, not every game is for everybody. You don't have every single player on the team, so the better players are going to get more carries than they normally did.
You know what you could do, Al?
Their stats slightly.
You know what you
But
could
they're
do,
really
Al?
close.
If you go back, well, Kerry's doing the career mode, but if you get a chance, if there's time, go back to your 81 season.
Oh, we will. I've looked at that.
And I could tell you, like, pick a team, and I could tell you what the quarterback, percentage passing was and all that stuff.
We will do that.
We could
We will do
possibly
that because again,
just pick a team and just go through a handful of them.
I mean, I don't know what people are complaining about, but if they're complaining about defense, we've addressed that this year. Offense, I think, is right on. So now I did want to answer. So one guy, Todd B, asked, is there any kind of home field advantage baked into the game? That is an option. You can turn it on or off. By default, usually you want it on, except in the Super Bowl. But so
and there's actually a road. This is something I remember Kerry pitching this a couple of years ago. What if we did this? What if I added home field advantage? I said, well, can you actually do a rating on their road? Because as an example, 89 49ers, they lost both their games at home.
At home.
And they were just, nobody could beat them on the road. So I asked, can you actually do it for road too? Because some teams do better on the road.
Here's another question.
That's right. And we did that. That's right. Thank you, Mike. Good point. And so those ratings are in there for every single team. That's right. I do want to answer one more question, then I'll be quiet. No,
you don't have to.
What do you mean? You be quiet. This is your game.
Your game.
So Legend Sports asked an excellent question, and about players that are cut, they just vanish. For over 3 weeks, I guess it was closer to 4, right, guys? That I worked on trying to implement the waiver draft and to have a pool that would go year to year until players just finally either gave up or aged out or something. I was not able to get it in there. I mean, just time. And I know people don't like hearing that, but it's a reality that when I'm only working on weekends, now I'm not. So the reason I'm saying that is it is in the queue. It just didn't make it this year. It got really far, but then it caused other bugs. So
it caused other issues.
Yep. I made the hard choice to say I'd rather have a stable game.
Sometimes you have to make hard choices.
Right.
It'll
be in there next year.
Oh, sorry. Todd B asks, can you jump into other games in progress?
So technically they're not. No, yes and no. Yes, you can switch and check on the updates, but you can't now switch to be watching that game. That is something I could add next year, but you couldn't coach it because these games are done. It's just you haven't revealed their scores yet.
Gotcha.
So that would take a complete redesign. And that would mean running multiple games in memory at the same time, and I'm not doing that. So I know
Right.
it's going to be confusing to people, the TV mode. But
I think TV mode's really cool. I like that you can see that if you want. I like that you can see the highlights. There's other, and we'll show you this before we leave, where you could just sim the game, not know who wins, and watch the highlights. Is there anything else you want to see right now in career mode, Kerry, that you want to show?
Oh, well, let's go back and look real quick. Are you in? No, you're in season now.
Nope, career.
He's
Oh.
in career, yeah.
We're we're in the Chicago Bear game. You want me to finish
Oh,
it?
that's right. That's right. I think we showed stats. Go
Yep.
back to menu and exit this game,
Okay.
and you can leave it in progress. I would click on that. Yes, keep this game, and then go back again. I mean, I got to tell you, I hate all the back buttons. I just have yet to come to figure out a way to make this easier. So because it's now GM mode, in the past, if you clicked on team history, news, and stats, you would see your team. But now you can pick any team. Now, of course, we're in the first game of the first season.
Right.
But if we had a 10-year season going on, you could go pick any team, look at their past, what that means is I could see their all 10 seasons, their records. You can drill down into any season and see every game for that season. You could go see all their player stats, including players who have retired. So I think the new GM mode or commissioner mode, or it's really a combination of all that and more, is going to be a lot of fun. I will say I have run into one difficulty that I may have to remove for now, and that is trading draft picks. I'm trying to get it to work in the new career mode. That's the only thing that's a problem right now. I also was not able to add trading players. That's huge. But that is, again, one of the top things for next year. Yes, right now it's 2 conferences. You can have up to 12, but in career mode, you can't have 1 conference. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, I think that's what he meant. The question, I think you just answered, Kerry. Gary asks, are we still required 2 conferences for a league? And you said yes.
Hey, I tell you what, I think that's probably enough for now on career.
Can we just
Let's go to
Wait
the
a minute. You are required to have 2 conferences? I thought you could.
in career play.
Oh, in
nothing else.
career mode.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you-
okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
if you play single season or you play exhibition, you can have one conference.
Okay, that's where I
You can
got
have-
lost because I
Yeah.
thought, I thought
it's
you
in
could.
career mode, Gary.
Okay, gotcha.
Now you
In
can have
career.
multiple divisions, Gary. So for example, you could have, but it was at one conference. I mean, I could have 2 conferences with 3 divisions each. Oh, I know what you're talking about, USFL. Yeah. This year I don't have that.
Can we just look at a quick the edit, like how to edit a
Absolutely.
season?
Absolutely. Let's exit career play and go back to the main screen. And now click on editor and mods. And let's edit that one. That's good. And we're just going to look at every screen. So click on edit league. And so here you can, and I don't know if Gary was here. Gary, one of the things that is new is you can decide when your season starts. And you can actually change this every season, but the league is where you could set the default. And so normally it's September, but you could make it March if you wanted to.
And is this where you do?
Yeah, so click on that next. So here you can say, an important thing is the images, where they go, but we'll come back because that's a whole big thing itself. But like Al was about to point out, so click on the Modern Pro model. So you can pick Modern Pro, Classic Pro, or Classic College. And now another thing you can do, you can actually do it. Lee, correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm remembering this right. We can actually have goalposts per team. So you could have the Cowboys have their own goalpost. And you could change that every year. So it might have blue or silver padding, for example. But the models are different.
I actually didn't know that. That's awesome. That's news to me. I
Lee,
did
get
not
to
know
work.
that. Yeah, wow.
All right, Lee. We'll talk
Guys, I'm
about
gonna log
that.
off.
All right, Lee.
Don't tell your wife.
TikTok.
And now, so close that. Just click anywhere, and then look at the goalpost location. Gary, was this something somebody was asking for that you can now?
Bernard asked the goalpost location.
Yes, can be front or back of the end zone.
So
it's the one
classic
below arrow.
classic pro would be front.
Well, no, you can pick any model, but then you can put it on front and back. So, see where it says goalpost?
Oh, right here. Yes. Back,
So,
front.
so we
it's on the
did.
goal line or back of the end zone.
Yep.
So the other thing is you can also change the default sleeves because that changed over time. And Lee, you're the one that helped me with this. I think the older teams had long sleeves. Is that right?
Yeah, anything pretty much prior to 65, particularly in the NFL versus the AFL, is long sleeves. And then from like 65 until I had it till about 95, everybody was wearing short sleeves.
Yeah.
And then late 90s to the current, you're seeing the short, basically no sleeves.
Let's go to the stats real quick because I just want to.
There is the option of face masks because if you want to play an old school team prior to 1954, you can turn off face masks.
I just like to address a couple of things in the chat. I'm not a fanboy. I enjoy the game. I have when I have different, but I just said like I like to see fumbles and things like who recovered it. Just because I enjoy a game doesn't mean I'm a fanboy. None of us are fanboys. That's how this game improves. So,
I don't get that.
I love everybody. Don't get me wrong.
I won't listen. Yeah.
If you don't like the game, that's cool. Yeah. But we're gonna go look at some stats and let's see what is good and what's not good, because I hear this stuff all the time.
I know,
and it's annoying to me, and I love everybody.
Something positive, they get put down.
Let's see. So, yes, let's exit. So I'm gonna go back. And maybe they weren't directing it at us or me. I took it that way. So now
I'm glad I can't see it. I can't see it. I'm not looking at the comments.
Let's go to here.
That's right. And then go to pick a team, Al.
Okay.
It could
do
be
I do it through team standings or scout?
Yeah, no, that's correct. Click team standings, pick a team.
Which team? Pittsburgh you familiar with, would you say?
Me, I am, but I mean, I'm just going to look up their actual numbers.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to compare the numbers with what you did on your 16-week sim and with what they did in real life.
Let's look at Dallas then.
Okay, let me call.
We already looked at that.
They went 12-4 in real life, and in the sim they went 10-5-1.
All right. So where do you
go to menu?
Where do we want to look at the stats?
Go down to where it says menu.
Menu.
Now go to player stats. Okay. So let me call up Danny White. Let me scroll down here. I have Danny White in real life completing 57% of his passes.
So he completed 56.
I had him throwing for 3,098 yards in real life.
2,739. He was injured though. The game he got injured for like 3 games.
All right. He was 223 for 391. But you said he was injured. Okay. Yep. Let's see.
How many touchdowns?
Touchdowns, he had 22.
17. Again, he was injured for 3 games. So now Carano didn't play.
In real life were 13.
Right. So Carano, he didn't play probably too much.
He actually played. He was in 5 games and he started 1.
Okay.
His completion percentage was 35.6 in real life. He
was
16 of 45.
46.9.
And he threw for 235 yards. He had a touchdown and a pick.
Yeah, he started against the Colts.
So how many touchdowns did Dallas throw in interceptions for that as a team?
Okay, hang on a second. Touchdowns as a team, they threw 24.
With 20.
And interceptions, they threw 15.
11. It's in the ballpark, my friends. Jeez.
Well, try running backs.
All right.
Okay, so that's in the ballpark. Tony Dorsett. Okay, let's see. He averaged 4.8 yards a carry
5
in real life. Okay, he carried the ball 342 times.
304.
He ran for 1,646 yards.
15-18. Now, I don't know if he was injured, so.
Okay. You want to look at a different play? You want to look at Rod Springs?
Yeah. He
Okay,
got
and
probably a few more carries in the sim than he actually.
he got 172 carries in real life.
Oh, so he got less, 113.
He ran for 625 yards.
384.
All right, his average was 3.6 in real life.
3.4.
Okay, it's in the ballpark. You want to do receivers, or you want to stay with running backs?
One guy wants to see defense. Can you move over to the defense?
Sure. All right, so
And you
let
know,
me
by the
scroll
way,
down
there's
to
this whole dialogue going on here about fanboys. I get really irritated with that because I know some people who, if someone says something positive, they put him down and call him a fanboy. To me, a fanboy who never says anything negative. But most of the people that I listen to the most are the guys that say, hey, I really support your game. Great game. Can you do this? Can you improve that? But if someone only says negative stuff, why would anyone listen to that? Because you'll never make that person happy.
Yeah, that's why you don't. That's why you don't even bother even
That's right.
acknowledging them. I mean, it's gotten to that point. I think a lot of it's societal. A lot of it.
So, all right, who is your leading tackler?
Hang on a second. I'm trying to get down to deep. No, you're fine. Leading tackle. Okay, let me click on. Well, the thing about tackles is that would be a number cruncher thing. There's no. I mean, I'll give you the numbers, but the thing about tackles is how can you determine what direction a ball went, how many times it was thrown?
That's the point.
But I mean, I'll look it up. So tackles.
Just real quick.
Actually, they don't have a list of tackles in 81.
Yeah, that's the one thing with some of those
older. Yeah.
So Michael down.
I can do the unofficial sacks. Now sacks were not an official statistic until 82.
All right.
But Pro Football Reference, which we based our numbers off of, had them unofficially from 1960 to 81. Sacks. Okay, hang on a second. All right, the sack leader in real life was Too Tall Jones at 9.5.
11.
Okay. Next was Harvey Martin with 8.5.
8.
Randy White also 8.5.
He had 14. He had a good year.
Okay. John Dutton 4.5.
7. So they got a lot more pressure on the quarterback.
Andy Dickerson 4.
Oh, he might not be in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because of the number of linebackers.
The limitation.
Charlie Waters, the strong safety, had 3.
He didn't have any.
Okay. Larry Bethea had 2. Benny Barnes had 1. D.D. Lewis had 1. And that's it for sacks.
And a lot of that's based on who blitzes, right?
Exactly.
It's part of it.
Well, yeah, because if a safety doesn't blitz, he's not going to get a sack.
Not likely. Unless the quarterback starts to run the ball and doesn't make it to the line of scrimmage and he comes up and makes a tackle. But
this is good. This is the one area where it uses actual stats.
Oh God, Raphael Septien. Do we have to see him?
Septien. Okay. He was field goal percentage in real life was 77.1.
He never kicked like that for me. 88.9.
And he was 100% on extra points.
97.4.
Okay.
The wind must have been with him on that one.
Punting.
Yeah.
Punting. Whoops. Come back here, computer. Punting. Septien.
Danny White.
Wow. Oh, it's Danny White. Pardon me. Danny White. 40.8.
39.
And he never had anything blocked.
Nope. No blocks.
Okay. I could do kick returners
Hey, is
and
this
punt
you
returners
inside
too.
the 20?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so there's also a rating for him because some rate guy, there are some punters that, man, they were just so good at pinning you deep, right? And then there are other punters that not so much. So this tells you how many were touchbacks. And if you notice, that's a 3-to-1 ratio. He was pretty good at nailing it inside the 20 versus getting touchbacks.
Yeah,
and 21 is the number of fair catches.
And I should mention too that stat, I don't believe, and I know Mike, you've got it pulled up, but I don't believe that stat is out there on Pro Football Reference. When I did the research, I actually had to pull those stats for the punters off of I think a site called Football Database, but they actually have
FootballDB.com.
Yep.
Football DB, yeah.
And they have if it's not on Pro Football Reference, which I'm surprised it always isn't.
Yeah.
It usually isn't the field goal longs. I had to go to footballdatabase.com to find out individual field goal longs.
Yeah,
because
for
I
the
was
older
trying to be
seasons. Yep.
historically accurate. So I
Yep.
would go to Pro Football Reference for that, and then I had to go to Football Database to get the long because I wanted to, because we're trying to get this as, unless we made a typo, we're typing in what we find historically in there.
Yeah, they're not made up numbers. Is what the
No.
bottom line
Well,
is.
I mean, there are some things we did have to make up because,
Well,
the
you
old-
couldn't
yeah,
find
of
the
course.
stats.
Yeah, the old
I mean,
stuff.
old field goals, they didn't keep track of it. You know, from the 20, 30, 40, 50, they made 20 of 30. And so I would just go off of history. Like somebody like Lou Groza is going to do
Yeah,
pretty
that you
good
have to guess.
compared to other kickers because he has a history of it. And I just
That's
had to
right.
make up numbers. I mean, but who can argue with me because you have no basis to go off of anything else either. So
Yeah.
you want to do kick and punt returners or you just want to call it? That's fine. We don't have to. But I mean, numbers wise, it's respectably close.
Oh, you want to look at the punt returns and stuff like
That's
that?
up to you, Al. I mean, we can.
Well, I just want to say again, you guys do this for free. You do it because you love the game. And you know what? Anybody can do it. So if someone doesn't like the numbers that you get, they're free to download your mods and go tweak them.
And that's something we've
That's right.
mentioned. We offer
You can tweak the mods whatever way you want.
Most people just download and go. And that's fine too. Some people like to make some modifications, like to put their names and put themselves in a season, you know, and then some will go in there. I think this player's overrated here and underrated there. Okay, go ahead and fix it. Knock yourself out. That's the whole point.
Al, while you're in there, so this is good. So a new stat that was added this year for running, passing, and receiving is the first downs.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
Yeah. And so now let's just step through because I know they're going to want to see defense. So go to, yeah. So, you know, again, you made a good point that the playing time is probably different than in real life.
Okay,
You know,
can I just note
ratings.
something? Yeah, here's something real quick. 81 sack exchange, right? Klecko 14, Gastineau 12. And again, I'm not saying they're the exact stats. I'm just saying they're from the Jets sack exchange. So again, this is not an exact as played. Name me the football game that does an exact as played.
It would have to be a number cruncher that's devoted to doing essentially nothing but getting those numbers to
That's
generate.
not fun.
No,
If it's fun to someone, it's not fun to me. I'm just saying. I want it within reason.
Hey, Mike.
Right.
I don't know if you can see the comments, but a guy said you sound like Kevin Costner.
I sound like Kevin Costner.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
How about that?
I've never heard that before.
Todd B.
He
Mike,
said, I
has
sound like
anyone ever
Beavis.
told you?
I've
He said,
never heard that before, Todd B. I guess that's a compliment. Thank you.
Hey,
Christopher Slovak is
Chris!
here
Chris,
from Afghanistan. No,
he's in
Pakistan.
Pakistan now.
I don't want him to be in Afghanistan. I'm sorry.
I hope he's not in
He doesn't want to be in Afghanistan.
No.
By the way, I've seen the occasional pictures, Chris. I haven't had a chance to listen to baseball recently. I was working on my poll a couple of days ago, and I was listening to that really close Dodgers game with the Pirates game with New York, and they were down 3-0. And New York all of a sudden showed up. I listened to it with my headphones on while I was working outside. I didn't see any of it, but I actually heard it all.
Christopher Slovak says, good morning from Pakistan.
Good morning, Chris.
Again, the sack numbers might be skewed a bit because it's what happens.
You know what I could do? Do you want me to look up the if you go back to the sacks, I can tell you who did what in real life. Give me a moment because I have to go into a certain menu to do that.
Because there was some difference with the Cowboys and somewhat, like Randy White had 6 more than he really did.
Yeah, these are a little low, but the order though is pretty good. We've gone back and made some changes. So what everyone's going to see in the mods at the time of release is going to look a little bit better, I think, in terms of the sack stats. So Just
But
keep that in mind as we're looking at this.
But it's already so much better than last year. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. It's night and day. Night and day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing I would like to see, and I know it goes off of some other aspects, Kerry, I would like to see the pass rush rating, I think is great for sacks. I would like to see another rating for interceptions, maybe next year, where, I mean, a player may be ranked really high from some aspects, but the way it's designed now is it also contributes to the likelihood of getting an interception, but they may overdo it compared to real life. So, I mean, it's just a thought. It's just a suggestion for next year. Maybe do that. And then we can do like Lee came up, guys. I mean, he sent this to me and I was like floored. When it came to the ratings for sacks, Lee pulled down from Pro Football Reference. I still don't know how he did it. All the players that have had sacks from 1960 to now, whether it be the official stats or the unofficial stats that Pro Football Reference has, we use that so we didn't do anything from 1959 backward because we have nothing to go off of when it comes to sacks. We just left them alone. But Lee came out with a spreadsheet, and he would send me this giant spreadsheet that had every year, and then it had every player that had a sack, and then I could sort by team. And then he came up with a formula on a scale of 1 to 9 of how to rate a player based on, it was a concert of real sacks, but also, well, how many games did they actually play that year? Because if it was a 16-week season and they were hurt and they only played 11 games, that was taken into account, because they only played 11. So he came up with this whole formula, and then when I was editing, we had to edit these independently for everybody from 1960 to today. We had to, just like I had to go in and do skin tones. We did this rating for everybody, whether they made a sack or not, because if you didn't make a sack, then you're 1. You're rating a 1. Lee came up with a formula, so we had to go in by hand, and we did it. It took a while, and we put in the formula he came up. It would generate a rating, and that's what we put in, and that's how we got this is the first attempt. These numbers you're seeing is the first attempt at his rating process, and he's even said that he wants to try to tinker with it before game release to try to build off of and improve it even more. But I was floored that he came up with this whole dynamic setup, and I was like, the time it took and the effort to do this, I was stunned.
Yeah,
but every day I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on this season, and I'm going to try to get as much as I can.
Let's look at everyone's obsessed with sacks now. Let's look at because again, the results are for the team wins and losses are very, very within reason.
Al, the guy named, by the way, I can't type answers, so I'm going to have to just speak it, but the guy named Random Human asked a question right there. My understanding is, from what we've seen over and over again, is the team totals have been very good. And so what we worked on this year was distributing them among the linemen and the linebackers and even defensive backs. So, for example, in the past, if someone got 15 yards and he was tackled, that was counted as a team tackle, and we approximated it. Well, this year it was much better. So, added algorithm with the help of tweaking it with these guys, so that if you run off your left tackle, those guys on that side of the line are much more likely to make that tackle. Now, if you get 6 yards downfield, it's more likely to be a linebacker than a lineman. So it took some tweaking, and we know it may need more tweaking, but it's much, much better than yes, you can sub players in and out. Yeah. Pro strategy baseball. About 15 years ago, that was in the books. I thought I would do that someday, but now I don't know, man.
What about pro strategy boxing?
I know.
Hockey.
Hockey would be a big seller. Imagine this game, hockey, you see the little guys go.
You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to eventually someday do college basketball. And
that'd be fun.
But
so, Phil, you would click on, I can show that real quick. I mean, you just click on the guy. Now the offensive line, you only have one extra lineman.
Well, it's 43 players
old
from
league.
1940 to
Yeah.
Right.
where did we stop? 2020.
I think it was 2020.
Yeah, the last year's version and this year's version, because Kerry added 53 players. Starting last year's version forward, when we build seasons, they're going to have 53 player rosters. So you will have a few extra offensive. Is it 8 now? Because it was originally 5 on the backup. I want to say, is it 8 offensive linemen now?
You want me to go to the hold on.
It's
I think it's 9.
Yeah, I think
Is
it's
it
9.
9?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay. So now you have 5 starters and 4 backups.
Right.
If you use the 2020 and the 2021 to 2022 seasons.
And and so you can do things like bring in 2 different packages, start 3 packages, starter, subs, and I forget what the other one was, bench. But in general, maybe that's something that can be improved next year. Although there are other things I would say that are ahead of that for next year, because we want to improve things that affect everything. So ratings, game results, those are key. So that's very important. But then I love that field, by the way. Great work there. Was that you, Lee, or John that did the field?
I did this field. Thanks.
Man, beautiful.
It's a beautiful field.
But
How much do we charge? How much do these seasons are they charged? Free? All right. And they're good. But again,
Lee and I might be millionaires if we charge for these.
That's right.
So on offense,
we're
we're
not ever charging for this.
So
guys.
if I wanted to change, I would click here, and this is the old season, so I could bring in Stokes if I wanted.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, say if I wanted to take Lynn Dickey out, you click on him, you go to sub, and I could bring in David Whitehurst.
Now, there is another way. Click on starters on the left side. Yeah, you can switch it. And that switches everybody. See that?
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Yeah. So you can bring in
second squad.
Now, here's a quick thing.
That's
If someone just wants to play offense, right?
Yeah.
So this is Green Bay has the ball. I'll just say go with that. Now it's Chicago's turn. So if you just wanted to play offense, you could go down to the Fedora, suggest a play for me.
You can even
then
set
go.
a setting that says always suggest a play for me.
Oh, we could do that.
Yep. In fact, I want you to bring up the settings. Let's do that real quick.
So now,
click on menu.
Bottom left.
Sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, no, you're doing great, but yeah, I wanted you to bring up. Yeah, click on that real quick. That's the wrong thing. Click on menu. I'm sorry, the button down below.
Menu.
And then click on options or settings. And click on
So if you just wanted to play offense,
there you go. He got it. Tom Landry's Fedora. That's right.
Can you all, since you're in there, go to animation and go to player size and go huge.
Oh Lord!
No, not the animation speed. It's above that.
Oh Lord! Nobody does huge anymore.
Let's just see what it looks like.
Oh my gosh!
And run a play.
Yeah, just click on replay.
It's like Giants.
You're not going to believe this, guys, when you see this, but some folks wanted it. Look at that.
Oh, I like it.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And then you could go the other extreme.
Looks like electric football.
Mike in the truck.
Did y'all hear that? That was Mike being the referee.
I'm the
So
referee.
what you want to do small now? That's pretty fun.
You can make them you can make them really small.
The small size is actually pretty close to
the normal.
Being
It's not
proportional.
You can hit replay,
to the field.
Al.
Replay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's the smallest. That's probably too small, but do you like
Yeah,
that?
I go one size above that.
Me too.
Third down. There's a flag on the play.
So,
But the proportion is right.
Yeah. So you can do that. You can also set the speed.
Oh, you can actually the frames on the very bottom.
Yep.
What's
Yeah.
Go
recommended?
8. Go 8 and see if
Thanks,
it's
Chris.
smoother.
Cool. I like Gary's comment. Oh, I love Todd's comment. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm
We've
missing
got to
these
do something
comments.
next year. We gotta have a guy running in circles.
The big, tall, white quarterback, you know.
Third down. There's a flag on the play.
So you can play offense by just going in there and setting the defense to the computer to automatically suggest a defense.
Yeah, do one more thing for me, and then we'll leave the settings alone. Well, let's do this real quick. Click on settings again. So menu. And let's just look at each one real quick. So under coaching, you can see that you can do a lot of options here.
I like this one, automatically spread out passes. So it's not always,
Yep.
I like that
You can
one.
do that. If you click on gameplay, you can, you definitely want those top two on.
Yeah.
Somebody actually said, I may not want TV mode. I said, fine, I'll give you the option to turn them off. But, you know, by the way, you can also, if you're from Canada, you can show the game temperature in Celsius if you'd rather have Celsius.
Nice little touch.
Under realism, you can turn, do you want your players to tire or do you want them to never tire out?
So right here, someone was asking about home field, and then Mike brought up the road. Use home and road win ratings, except for a championship game, meaning the Super Bowl.
And what we did on that is I talked to Lee about it, and we came up with a formula. We actually looked at every team's home and away record, and we went with a percentage. So if it's 90% to 100, they got a 9, which is the highest possible one. And so if they were in the 80s and they got an 8, if they were in the 70s, they got a 7, and 60s and 50s, and so on and so forth. So we just did, and it seems to work. So if you were 4-4 on the road, then you have a road rating of 5.
So we already looked at animation.
Yeah, go look at sounds real quick.
Yep, I was just going to get there. Now, Is this where you can add? No. Oh, I'm not going to click on music because I don't want any copyright hits.
Yeah. By the way, what I did, folks, was I have a CD of I bought
the NFL
in the 90s. Oh yeah, old NFL, and I just I picked that folder and let her rip. And
so is that
it's like you're watching the game while was like watching a highlight
mode.
NFL film. It's great.
I do something similar when I play offline. I have it on my desktop. I just listen to it low. Now, is that something someone will be able to upload into the game? Is that going to be
well?
You know, like you have.
You don't need to, Al. You don't need to.
Oh, by the way, everything needs to be MP3.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody know, if you have like ripped off of Apple and you use their MP4, it won't play on the game. Any audio, even if you go in and if you make your own audio for referee calls or TV calls or radio calls or all that, it needs to be an MP3.
Yeah,
so Al, you can recognize it.
Any folder on your, it doesn't have to be inside the game. You can go.
So like I did. So again, I have it. Some music set up like the Monday Night Football themes when I usually play a lot. The old one, not the crappy new one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could just set that to. Oh, that's cool.
And not only that, then you can say, you can either pick one song and have it loop, or you can say, I want random music, because maybe you've got 6 songs in there. So you would click that random music, because I love the same thing you just mentioned. In fact, Lee gave us some, whoops, I guess I shouldn't say that. Lee told us about some folders that have like, Monday Night Football or 70s and so forth. Yeah, it's really great. Now,
that's cool.
If you've got them on CD, if you already got them, just put them in an MP3 format, put it in any folder you want.
And then
select that folder from here.
So I could go here. I could go to my desktop.
Yep. If you've got music on there.
No, just don't play it so you don't get a potential.
No, I'm not going to play it because I don't feel like getting whacked.
No.
So I do have it. I just have to find it. It's on my desktop somewhere.
Absolutely. You can do that. And okay, when I'm like stressed, working or something, I like to listen to The Dark Knight or to John Wick. I know that's crazy, but just have it, or the other extreme,
It's somewhere.
like a coffee shop behind me. So it's nice that you can just pick those, and you can
That's
also
pretty cool.
adjust individual volumes. What do I want the crowd to sound like when I'm on a screen, and what do I want this crowd to sound like when I'm on the animation? So if you go change that top radio button to animation, no, go back to sounds.
Oh, sorry.
See on the right where it says
Yeah.
animation? Yeah. And now you can change what the crowd and everything sounds like. So you might want really loud hut sounds. You might want really
Yeah.
soft hut sounds, so forth.
So you can adjust everything here.
That's right.
Awesome.
And I really want to thank you for your commentary, and also Mike in the truck for his referee stuff. So much fun.
And Christopher Slovak for AM Radio.
Oh, absolutely. And Chris, didn't mean to leave you out. I love the AM radio stuff.
Yeah,
And then you have
thankfully I have my
Windows.
editor had that audio processor to make it sound
That's
tinny,
right.
to make it sound like, and my voice is the ref. I put it in echo, so it sounds like it's out of a stadium.
Yeah.
And then display is just how you want it.
Yeah.
So. But that's really cool. So we had, what did we fool around with here?
I forget
Yeah.
what's on beta test. We probably
No,
couldn't tell you.
don't. That's the do not click button, Al. Don't
That's
click
right.
it.
Don't do that.
No.
I'm not
man,
gonna do
yet.
that.
I was always afraid to press that.
I don't press anything that's red.
Oh, really? Go ahead and click it.
No.
I've forgotten what's on there. I may regret this.
You're being punked.
So do you recommend it being played on 8 frames or 6 frames? The default 6 frames. That's why I'm just curious.
I don't know.
I couldn't tell the difference, to be
I
honest.
think 2's too jerky, but everything else seems okay after that.
Yeah.
I like 6.
You like 6? Yeah.
Yeah, I keep it on 6.
All right.
8's a little almost too smooth. I mean, it's kind of cool to watch,
Oh.
look at for, you know.
I remember you
minutes,
saying this last year. It almost looks like they're floating. I remember
Yeah.
you typing
Like
that
they're
in,
ice
it almost
skating.
looks like they're floating.
Yeah, it's like ice skating.
Oh, good. Oh, well.
That'll work when you do the hockey game.
Yes, Kerry. What I do.
Or they're playing in the ice. They're playing in bad snow and it's frozen over.
Where do you want to go now, Kerry?
Tahiti.
What
He deserves it.
Yes, he
else
does.
have we talked? We've talked about stats. We've talked about the GM mode, the new ratings like pass rush on linebackers.
Oh,
and,
actually go into the editor and show them that.
oh,
Yeah, pick any team, Al.
Yeah.
Go back into 81.
yeah, 81's fine.
All right, and just pick a team. It doesn't matter which one. Go to teams on the bottom center. Yeah, and pick anybody. And then, now that's the head coach of the Giants. That's Ray Perkins.
Yep.
By the
Good.
way, for those, if you're unfamiliar, when you get a mod, completely independent of all the mods are going to come with the season and the artwork, pictures of players and coaches. We have a completely separate file, a zip file that has all of them. We kept it independent because it's used in so many, over year after year after year, and it's a big download.
Yes, it is.
So I want to forewarn you, you're going to need extra hard drive space if you want the pictures. If you don't download the pictures,
You get the
where
helmet.
this gentleman's picture is, it'll just say,
Cool.
photo here.
Yeah.
But all the other players, instead of their picture, which don't exist, it'll be the logo or the helmet of the
Yep.
team. So it's not empty and saying, it's not like those old games that would say no picture or no photo of the player. That just looks corny. It would actually just, have the team logo. But this is going to be, if you want the coaches and the players, that's another mod. It's a free download. It's just, we have it completely separate because it's so huge.
Is there going to be?
But it's going to be for everybody from 1940 to now.
I mean, there might be a few photos missing, but there's a ton of them in
Some
there.
of the older players, we're not going to get photos.
Yeah.
And we've tried. But
I found
modern play
some that I
players, you're going to have everybody.
Yeah.
And you can add them. It's pretty easy if you have to.
You
if want.
can. Somebody made I think it's for last year's version, a picture generator like the old Tecmo Bowl that would generate pictures I don't know if it was randomly you could set it, but they look like the old Tecmo Bowl style pictures that were in the Tecmo Super Bowl, and you could have that automatically put into the game, which I thought was a really clever idea. So you'll never run out of pictures.
Yeah, especially for a fictional league.
Oh yeah, for fictional league it'd be great. You don't have
Mhm.
anything to think about.
There's so many options with this game. You can create your own leagues. There are fictional leagues you can download. There are links. Some people do fictional leagues. They provide the files. You can download and play those.
And since you're talking about that, Lee and I and some other individuals are making mods for this game. If anyone here has a mod, they can, try to contact us. And if it's a unique mod, it doesn't even have to be a league. It could be pictures. It could be audio, whatever. We're not just like, some kind of elitist, it's, we're the only thing in the, around kind of thing. We're happy to, give us a link, give us some basic information so we know what to tell people it is. And we're happy to put it on the mod site. So it's open to everybody. We're supposed to be a community. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, we're a community. So we're, just we need basic information. What is it? What does it do? And after we take a look at it, if it all checks out, by all means, sure, we'll post it.
Before we leave, can we look in this? Is this where we look to show some player ratings to explain?
Well, no, you're in the Giant. So where's his team overview top center? You see that?
Yeah.
To the right, it says next. Click that. Okay. Those is going to look like gobbledygook. There's a whole different setup that Lee has come up with to consolidate graphics.
Yep.
So that we're not using the same graphics over and over and over again and take up more hard drive space. Okay, so click next again. Okay, and again. One more time, I think.
No, yeah. So here's where on your offense and defense, if someone's new to the game and you haven't seen this before, this is where you can try work on setting your team's personality. How do they play on offense and defense? And you can also set, you can do a quick set to set all of their offensive attributes at a certain value and then tweak them. So, so go ahead. Yeah.
Defense, same principle. And
So that guy I asked a while ago, right? I don't know if he's still on or not.
Yep. I wanted to get to this stuff.
Yeah, go ahead. So you tell them about it, Al.
So now this is 1981, but say if you're playing an older season. I've gone in. Now you have to have at least one passing formation. It's just the way the game is made. You can't get around that right now. You just have to accept that. If you can't, and that's not and it just crashes, like, oh, I can't play this game because then that's what it is. But what I do, like, say if this was on a 1940s team or whatever, I would go in and I think I used twins for their one passing because it was no shotgun. I did. And then I would just click off things, and it's already pretty much preset. You guys have it pretty much preset already, except I think you have two passing. This is last year's though. So I don't know if you've changed it since this year. You had two passing.
No, I don't think so.
Al, click on quick set up there. That green
we
button.
did research though. We also did
so
research.
You could click on, you could change this, see? And you click on that.
So go ahead, just don't save the league. Yeah. So now that's
so this is the 40 setup. Okay. You can see there's no one back. And again, what I do when I did this, I got rid of trips. That's just me. That's just me. So, and I don't want to save that.
It's just a quick set, it's what they generally speaking use for that era. And then you can add or subtract a little bit if you want to fine tune a specific team. And this is what Lee and I tried to do. I mean, we were doing research on who used what formations and when. When did they exist? What years did they exist? What year did people stop using them? For example, the pistol, 2010. That's when the pistol, and there were only a handful of teams that actually did it.
Right. And what I did was I did quick set.
Now.
And can I say something about the pistol though, Mike?
Yeah.
What I did find out in my research though,
they used it in the 50s.
In the 40s.
40s. Because the quarterback, the quarterback was a little slightly farther. I've seen it in highlights.
1940 till pretty much till the late 40s.
But
The
you built the
quarterback
40s
on most of the
decade,
team. Yeah, the
so
quarterback.
you would know that. I didn't. Yeah.
The quarterback on most of those teams was the main running back as well as the quarterback.
Right.
And they took the snap about 3 yards, 4 yards behind the
Almost
center.
like a wildcat.
It looked like a wildcat,
Yeah.
yeah. But I went ahead and selected pistol for pretty much every team from that era because that's if you look at their if you go to YouTube and watch those teams, it's
I know
the
that they
pistol.
had funky. I do know that they had some funky setups.
Yeah,
folks,
big time.
Lee built the entire 1940s decade, all of it. I built the 1950s. I built 60 to 65 NFL, AFL. Lee built 66 to 69. He built all the 70s. We split the 80s. He built all the 90s. And then 2000 to today, we split. So we were going back and forth, and Lee would do.
There are no
some of the
option
70s.
plays, unfortunately.
Yeah,
cool.
there are no option plays.
That'd be cool because I'm a big wishbone guy. I like the option.
So guess what?
What?
It's almost there.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes.
I don't know if I'll have it done. I ran into some things but I've got it mostly working now. When I'm talking about the option where the quarterback keeps it or hands it or pitches it out. I don't have the option yet to where he will throw it. That did not make it into this year's version yet, but it's so close. I guarantee it'll be in there for next year. So
nice.
Is that enough, or do you need him to also pass out of the option?
Right. Because I hate to tell you this, when I play some 7-9 team in the NFL, run their wishbone, baby.
So the only thing I wonder about, and we'll come back to this later, because what I'd love to do, Al, is let's do this again, like in November. We can do it before then.
Absolutely.
November, planning for next year, because I want to discuss things like, okay, if we add the option, quarterbacks in the NFL don't like to run the option, and coaches don't like to run it because they don't want those guys to get killed. So how do I factor that into the game? You know, that kind of
thing. I think that would be I understand that. I agree with that. I think the option in the NFL would just be something a fun thing. Like I want to try.
Okay.
It's again because no one runs it. But you can
so as long as people understand, hey,
yeah, it's a fun thing.
You may get different results. Okay, that's good.
It's a fun thing. You could even increase. I don't know if you could do this. Like say, if a quarterback runs from the option, he's going to have more, but he's still got a bigger chance of getting hurt.
Yes, he will.
Yeah. So.
Hey, yes, thank you, Andre.
Can we just look at the ratings real quick?
Yeah.
Go
next again. One more time. Yeah. Okay. Now look where. Okay.
Look at Rob Carpenter, running back. This is
Rob
good.
Carpenter. Okay, sorry.
No, this is good. You can start here. But...
Okay. Look under pass blocking, bottom center.
That's right.
Pass blocking.
And to the left, run blocking. These are new. These are for running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Okay. If you hit cancel on the bottom left. Okay, now look. Where is it?
Tight end.
I'll be right back.
Under starting at halfbacks, second to last thing. It's right before it says manage with the up and down arrows. There's a run block. There's blocking for run and pass. The first numbers are run block. Second is pass. That's new this year. So all running backs, tight ends, wide receivers have that. That's new.
That's cool.
And if you hit next again on defense, where it says pass rush, we're considering that basically pass defense as well. So those ratings have been kind of modified. But if you look where the linebackers are, it says pass defense and pass rush.
Yep.
The pass rush rating is the likelihood of that player getting a sack. Okay. So Lawrence Taylor has a pass rush of 6 this year. So on a scale of 1 to 9 in 1981, he was rated a 6. So it's not a perfect science, but Lee came out with this formula that's actually really, really good. So
good formula.
like Brian Kelly has a 1. He must not have had any sacks.
Yeah, it's been tweaked. I actually made for defensive linemen and linebackers now, they're going to have a minimum of 2. So even if they had no sacks, they're going to have a 2
Okay.
rating because there's probably less sacks overall than there should be based on that new rating system. So it's a work in progress. But it looks pretty good right now, I can tell you that.
It's an improvement from last year for sure.
Absolutely.
If you scroll down a little more, Al, see the defensive backs. So the number on the last number is going to be their pass rush number. So it looks like Bill Courier must have had a couple sacks blitzing as a strong safety where nobody else did. So we actually tried to emulate that off of real life. Now, don't think of it as all time. Like you saw Lawrence Taylor with you're telling me he only has a 6 for pass rush. That's in 1981.
81.
You go to 1986, he's a 9. It was the number of sacks he had, not just that he was a sack leader that year. That's for someone who has an exemplary year, like T.J. Watt last year or Michael Strahan. And again, we use the unofficial numbers too. Bubba Baker from 78
Lions,
Detroit actually is the unofficially the all-time single season sack leader, more than Strahan or Watt.
That's right.
Beat him about what, half a sack or 1 sack, something like that.
Yeah.
They didn't keep that stat officially.
Right.
Well, no, they didn't keep it as an official stat.
Right.
So he's unofficially the single season stat leader.
So
Deacon Jones had 3 years in a row in the late 60s where he had over 20 sacks for like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And Deacon Jones always complained, I should be the all-time sack leader.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
He's third.
He's not wrong.
He's third.
Yeah, he's close. I mean, yeah, he's got to be right up there.
He is by
they
far
outlawed the
number
head
1
slap
for
because of Deacon
unofficial.
Jones.
He's by far number 1 unofficial, but he's
Wow.
technically third all time.
Deacon Jones said, all I need is that guy to blink his eye. I whack him in the helmet, he blinks his eye, I'm by him. The head slap. Now, so again, I just want to point out, so this was not in last year's. It was something that was brought up by many people.
Right.
And it, rightfully so, a great suggestion.
And we're 2 weeks to launch, and it's still a work in progress. Lee's trying to fine-tune the fine-tuning.
So what I'm trying to get at.
I mean, yeah.
And I'm trying to make sure the game
It took
doesn't
me a
have
long
bugs.
time to get to this, my point, but
It took me the whole summer to do skin tones.
Yeah,
the whole
that's
right.
summer.
a suggestion was made. Kerry and this awesome team went through what they can do, they do. What they cannot do, they tell you they can't do, or they continue to say maybe we can get it in an update or next year. So you have pass rush ratings for every defender. Is it perfect? No.
Never
Is
will. be.
anything perfect? No. So anyhow, I guess that was my long way of getting to this. I have a method to my madness.
Yeah, Al, go back to League Main. Click on at the bottom, third button, League Main. Because one guy was asking about that button at the very bottom on the left where it says adjust all player ratings.
Yeah, I'm afraid to touch that one too.
So what this is, it was during development and testing, but then I thought, well, I guess if someone wants it, I can leave it in there. So if you wanted to change all of your
But this is all players,
yeah, this is all halfbacks.
not
and
a
all
specific
teams.
team.
And is it all attributes?
It's all attributes for all halfbacks or all fullbacks. I wouldn't use it, but when we were trying to
I wouldn't use it.
I
no,
wouldn't touch it.
and I don't even know whether to leave it.
Wait a second. Oh no, if it was the Patriots only, I'd be like,
Yeah.
9. And my field goal kicker would still miss.
I was going to say, you're going right to the field goal kicker. 100%, baby, all the way.
How do you miss on 100%? I'd like to know.
Well, because Kerry caps it at 99.
I know.
There's always a
You can
1%
miss.
chance.
There's always a possibility.
There's always a 1% chance.
So-
If you had 100 real
Let's
life.
do one more thing real quick.
Absolutely.
Click on League again up at near the top.
Top left. You were
Second one, yeah.
And now click on League Rules. It's the second from the bottom in the middle. Okay, because I know we've got some. So I do not have all CFL in here rules. I just can't. I mean, like what is that thing
It's not
called?
programmed for that.
Yeah.
The Rouge.
The Rouge. I don't have the Rouge in there.
Love
But
the Rouge.
But I've tried to add each year a little bit more. So, for example, you can turn off allowing fair catches if you want this year. You can. I was adding can go for 3. I had to give that up for now. That'll be in there next year. Is that the XFL, I think, or the USFL, where you can go for 3?
I didn't even know you could go for 3.
Yeah.
I
It's
remember
one
you
of
brought this up earlier through email swapping, but I forgot who it was.
There's
Well,
so
and
many
there's
different
another one that
rules
I
in these leagues.
There's another
new
rule that'll
leagues.
be in there next year too, if people really want it. One league actually makes it where you cannot kick for a point after. You have to.
Right. You have to go for 2.
Now, let's scroll on down a little bit more. Let's see what else we have in rules. Number of downs can be 3 for our Canadian friends. Timeouts. Click on the 3 per half timeouts. This is in regulation. You can now make it 2 per game, which is a Canadian thing.
Cool.
You can also say nobody gets any timeouts, or you get 1 per half. I forget what league had that, but and then just click anywhere to close that. The 2-minute warning is actually at 3 minutes in the CFL, so I've got that.
Yep. So that's been added.
Yep. Then if we have anybody new in here who doesn't already know it, scroll to the very bottom, and you can actually set. So click on overtime rules right there. Now don't do it right now, but I now have the 2022 NFL rules in there. I have the 2010 rules for the NFL in there, and I also have all the modern college rules. I like to play the college. I mean, college overtime is fun.
So
yeah,
you
I'll
can
try to
apply
add that. Huh?
if you wanted, Kerry and Lee and Mike, you could apply the college overtime rules to your NFL season.
You sure
That's
could.
right.
You
And let me
could,
tell
yeah.
you, it gets intense. I mean, once you go into the 4th or 5th overtime and all you can do is go for 2 points. Yeah.
Well, that's where it's fun to have those fictional leagues because you can mix
Yeah.
and match rule sets all you want. That's
Well,
awesome.
you can,
I
any
like
league
that
you
idea,
have
Lee.
is, you can do what you want. So that's pretty cool. I like that. That's cool.
Okay, so that's all. Let's see.
Right.
And on
How about
college?
team rosters, where it says team roster sizes for people who are
Oh,
unaware
yeah.
of this?
Yeah.
The mods from 2020 backwards, everybody's got 43
Yep.
player rosters. 2021 and 2022, which is under construction, which will be released game time when the game is released, those have 53 rosters. If you wanted to increase, right now Al's in the 81 season.
You'd have to
He
add
can,
players.
you can, well, you don't. If you go ahead and click switch to 53 player rosters. Okay. Now, Al, go into teams.
Yep.
Pick a team. Go previous. Okay. Right there.
Look
So
at the
that's
Now
fixed
there are
player,
3
right?
quarterbacks for this 1981 team. There are 3 halfbacks. You're going to have more tight
Hey,
ends. You're going to have more
Bobby
receivers.
Bremer.
You're going to have 9 offensive line. What the way Kerry designed this was all of the 43 team leagues actually have 10 more players on them. They're hidden. They're going to be fictional. They're made up, but they're hidden. If you click on that, you're revealing them, and you can use them that way.
Yep.
But again, that quarterback 3 is fictional.
He might be
Okay.
starting.
But you could go in and edit it if you want. If the 81 Giants actually had
That's
3
right.
quarterbacks, and you can go in and edit the
Change
person.
it.
He's
So-
right there.
So say the 81, because I don't remember if they did it, but if they did, I could go in here and change the name and come up with the stats if I wanted.
All
I
of
mean
it.
the ratings. The ratings.
Yes,
the ratings.
all of it. Yep.
Right. Which I
And the
So right
enjoy.
here,
opposite is the
Al?
case too, where if
Yes.
you have a 53 player league, you can click go to 43 and then it shrinks it down.
So Al, click on any player you want to, and look. Do you see where it says scan right up there near the top? Top left.
Underneath the name Bobby.
Yep.
Yep.
Cl-
So
click
yeah,
that.
see,
Nice.
isn't that
So-
cool? Isn't that nice?
That is very cool. I like it.
Oh, we didn't show something.
Let's show it.
Click on cancel.
Yes.
Click on that big button up top under the word New York. and select team colors, images, and uniforms,
Oh yeah.
and click
Now-
on edit, the second button from the bottom. Come down one more. Up, right there. So here's your editor. Click on uniforms on the left. So this is how you can change white jerseys, colored jerseys. You can change which shoulder set you want them to have on. There's different. There's like.
But if you changed the helmet color, would that get rid of the logo?
Well,
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
you don't want to do it to yours.
Right.
Yeah,
You
No,
not
I
to
know.
this
I'm not
one.
doing-
No, you only want to do it to teams that you're starting from scratch.
Yeah, like
yeah,
fiction.
don't do it with a mod that you download that has pre-made graphics that
'Cause
like
that-
Lee has made.
Right.
It's going to blow it out.
Right.
You
So
don't
if you
want
click
completely.
on, if you click on where it says new uniforms, if you click on that,
Yeah, right there.
it'll show you the existing uniforms.
Gotcha. Got it.
So you can
Beautiful.
change. You can click on that white jerseys and just toggle back and forth to see what the dark and light jerseys look like. So those are the actual modded uniforms.
Right.
Oh,
Because I love the mods, so I don't want to fool around.
But
Okay,
if you're
so-
making a league from scratch,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
this
when
is-
you wanna
this is
do-
great. This is great.
The, Vermont lizards.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when you want to be able to create. Use this to create the new uniforms.
And then you have the
Yeah.
sleeves, and you can look. So, you got sleeves, stuff like that.
Yes, all the uniforms have to be remade.
Yeah, you can convert if you have a 2021 league. I'm not talking career or single season, but if you have a 2021 league and you want to bring it, or 2022 league, pardon me, and you want to bring it to 2023, that whole league conversion process still exists. So your league can come over. The only issue is your uniforms won't because it's all new graphics.
JT
so-
asked, could you get an
Yeah.
alternate uniform that can be modified without messing with the white and the dark defaults? I don't-
Okay, so this is a great question. We discussed this a few weeks ago because I actually have support in the game, but it gets really involved. So right now, you can do it in a roundabout way. What you can do is, thank you, Legends. What you can do is you can pick a different folder. So so on a team, you say this team's uniforms are in this folder, but you can easily change that to say, okay, now I want them to point to this other folder. Now that's hard to do, like for an exhibition game at this point. But yes, we actually had that discussion. It would be nice to have an alternate uniform because I know most teams have something that they do for special occasions, right? So
I just want to show one thing before we leave, and we don't have to leave. I'm just saying. So, what game do you want to sim and not find out and watch the highlights? Don't pick Detroit though.
Sim Minnesota, I guess.
Okay. So if I click sim, I believe it will say give me the option. Correct?
Well, if you sim it, yeah. I mean, you simmed it.
Now
Don't reveal it.
Now I don't want to reveal it.
That's right.
So this is cool to me. Now I can watch the highlights without knowing who won.
That's right. Let's do that.
Let's do that. Kramer, this is a fumble.
Fumble.
Oh, God.
And now that little timer there, folks, you can change that timer. You can even turn it off. And you can also skip any play if you just want to step through.
I like. So what I did was shut. So if I wanted to, if not, it'll just run. Correct.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, I like it. So let's see what happens. So was that on fourth down? What happened?
That was he went for it on fourth down.
They went for it on fourth. They were stuffed. Oh, I like it. It's a very exciting game. Kramer, chuck it up, buddy. Pick. Oh, Sammy White. He faked him out of his cleats.
That's a touchdown.
Now,
It is Al.
That's
Al,
a
when this is
touchdown.
over, this play, click on done.
It's good.
Yeah, on the right bottom. Click on.
What do you want me to click?
Well,
Bottom right when the play is done. Go ahead
yeah,
and play
go ahead and
this,
let this play.
and then skip will eventually go away and it will be done.
That's right. So you see
Wait,
that
did
done?
they-
But yeah.
Did they just go
No.
for it on 4th down there? Wait.
Remember that was dumb.
Yeah, it was.
It's good.
Click done. Why is it not
Well,
working?
Because he's on the fast timer, I think.
No, I'm on no
Right.
timer.
Okay. Huh.
Wait, I'll check. Hold on. Benjamin's in. Oh my God. Did we knock out Montana? Someone tackle him. Cut off the angle. Oh.
That's a touchdown.
Hit done.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know why that's not.
We found a bug, Kerry.
Maybe I wonder if it's only when the timer's off or something.
I thought it should let me do it. Oh, you know what? I know what I thought the time. Oh, Davis scores.
Because the timer, turn the timer back on and then just hit done quickly. Hit it. There you did it.
Ah! Hit the right Guy Benjamin.
Guy Benjamin's the MVP.
So what
Wow.
happened? Who got
Montana
hurt?
must have gotten
Montana.
hurt. Guy Benjamin came in and won the game.
So let's
Go to
Yeah,
stats. Go to
Legend.
stats.
I agree, and that I agree. And this, to me, this was a really cool thing to add. And then, so this is highlights. Now,
Yep.
Oh,
if you
Well, Montana
go
must be
back-
gone because they're talking
Yeah.
about
Where
Benjamin
would
5
you see
straight
the
games.
injuries? There's a place to see the injuries.
So go back. I do need to add it to here. I did not even think about that, but go back and go back again. Oh no, right here, right here.
Right there,
Click
right
on
there.
injuries, right here. Come down.
Oh,
Oh,
that's for the game. Go. Yeah, go back one more.
Yeah,
to
you
the
need to
season
go back.
screen.
You need to go back to
Oh.
the main season
oh, he
screen.
was knocked out before this game.
Right
Yeah,
there.
so
Right there.
injuries second to last one. Second to
Um,
one from the bottom. There you go.
Oh wow.
Oh
Out for the
man.
season.
Gone for the season
Out for
in
the-
week
wow.
4.
Devastate. I didn't even notice that.
And they still made the
their playoff
playoffs.
team.
So that
Wow.
explains why they were what they were. Boy,
There you go.
you know who approved this? Mr. Benjamin.
Guy Benjamin.
That is
man.
cool.
The Jeff Hostetler of 1981.
Wow.
Yes.
Legends, you might have been one of the guys that recommended this new mode.
I
I don't remember who all recommended it, but it's.
I love the I just love that. I just think it's so cool.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do one more. One more. Let's do this one.
San Diego, Miami, 1981. Oh my
What?
goodness. That must be epic. Am I
Ready?
I don't know. Are
You
we?
know what I need to add? I need to make a so when you click on preview, you ought to see which players are out for the game.
Yeah.
Well, I think
That'd
you
be-
had that though in the preview. I think there is an injury.
I think because I'm in the playoffs and I simmed it, I
Oh,
didn't really look.
you're in the playoffs.
Oh,
Okay.
Intercepted.
Oh,
Hey,
AJ Dewey. A year early.
Now, how come I can't switch back to the Woodley?
I don't know.
Oh,
Woodley got picked.
okay.
Change that to 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Just
put that on
for
5
three.
seconds, and if you hit done, you should be able to get out. I think that's what the problem was before.
Maybe. Now try done.
Yeah,
There it is.
that's
That's
exactly
it.
what it was. That's what I thought.
Jim, they just approved it for the store, and I have to wait 2 weeks. So right now it should be. By the way, I like your. That's pretty good, Jim L. As someone who loves.
You will kneel down before me, Jamal.
That's right. So that's good, man. I like you and somebody. And I'm sorry, I'm bouncing around. I'll come back to you, Legend. Jim L. It'll be ready. I think they said the soonest I can do is September the 8th. I might could get them to move up to 6th or 7th, but the 8th right now is it. And,
Did they approve the demo video? Because I saw pictures up.
I haven't posted a video yet because I haven't
Oh.
decided on the price yet.
Ah, gotcha.
Even this late, I'm still trying to decide.
There's
know?
a reason why, folks. There
Yeah.
are 2 videos,
That's right.
and he doesn't know which one to put up.
Yeah.
But now I'll just
'Cause, I
say
mean, I
that
had to
when you
incur
see
some
the
cost on those
video,
flights
let's just
this
say
year.
it's unconventional.
It is. It's
I
I'm not
remember
gonna
the
give
intro.
any
I've
away.
seen that. I've seen it.
All right, so
Ronco.
I'll just be honest. I'm trying to decide whether to increase the price a little to help me cover my cost that I had to hire an artist to do those. Because because I don't make much from this, but to help me cover some of that cost. So we'll see. And then if I do raise it, I will offer a discount right away for that first week, I think, so that my the most loyal folks will get it. So. But I haven't decided yet because I also hate raising prices in a inflationary period. But who knows?
People are already counting their pennies. Yeah.
I know. Me too.
Yeah.
Well,
all
that's
are.
the pick. Well, the seasons are expensive.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely free. Yeah, if you
Uwe
think
von
about
Schaman.
it, yeah, if you think about
Flag
it,
on
you
the
pay
play.
one cost and you
Palm
play-
trees.
Look at the palm trees.
There's a
I
Orange
like
Bowl.
it.
It's the Orange Bowl.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Gotta have palm trees.
I liked it.
The only thing was
3-0
missing was I
Miami.
wanted to have a pool with the dolphin in it, but I couldn't figure out how to put that in there. Not enough room.
That's a touchdown.
So another thing I wanted to get in, and
Montana
man,
was overrated anyway. No, he wasn't.
holy cow, are you serious? He
Who
said
said
again,
Montana was
so-
overrated?
Well, I do know that there's another.
I assume he's
factor.
kidding.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
We're on different conversations.
oh.
What happened? False start. Oh,
Complete.
Oh, Jimmy Cephalo.
Jimmy
It's
Cephalo.
okay. He's a Paisan.
I love
Sorry.
this highlights mode, and
As long as they
you
lose,
helped with that. Thank you
fine.
so much. And
This is great. I love the whole because you can sit here, and I found this absolutely.
Fumble.
Oh,
oh man, on the 6-yard
Kellen
line.
Winslow, too.
That's a killer. Kellen, come on. He's not getting player of the game right now.
Yeah, that's his game.
I bet he was down. Who called that play?
Complete.
West.
Fumble.
oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Are you
Twice.
serious?
Is this Billy Sims?
There's
Oh
snake
my
bit.
gosh.
They're down here again.
Oh my
Third time in the red zone. Let's see.
Fouts roll.
Third time's a charm.
Complete.
Boom!
There it is.
That's a touchdown.
14-10. I assume they make point.
Time to bring in Don Strock.
Yeah, Woodley's still in.
Oh,
Third quarter.
jeez.
He hasn't screwed the pooch yet.
Hall of
Uh-oh.
Fame, Hall of Fame play. That's
Pick.
one's going to Ken.
Oh, a lot
No,
of
it's
picks in
not.
this game. Holy cow. Glenn
Touchdown.
Edwards.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's a killer.
Okay, I did not.
Now we
expect
might
that.
see Strock.
Now we might see
You
Strock.
think they'll put Strock in? I would.
No.
Woodley.
Fourth quarter.
Big Andre Franklin.
Andra Franklin.
That's a
Wow.
21-17. I assume the
Going
point
down
is
to the wire.
Are we going to quadruple overtime?
fourth quarter. Capoletti.
fumble.
Oh,
Oh,
Johnny.
wow. This game is epic.
Oh my gosh.
Just like real life. Oh,
Throw a
is
pick,
Miami
Woodley.
gonna take
Throw
the
a pick.
lead?
Nathan's
Tony
in.
Tony Nathan.
That's a
Yeah,
touchdown.
Legends, that's a great point.
Wow.
What I
And
could
that's
do
the
is-
ball game.
I don't know. I'm not sure how to improve that unless
Game
slow it
over.
down,
That's
maybe?
it. That's how they won.
Wow, 21 to
That
17.
San Diego won.
Tony
And the
Nathan.
Miami
21.
won. Excuse me. Tony
Right.
Nathan.
Huh.
So that's cool. That's all I
Look
can
at
say.
that. He had, yeah.
Wow. You're gonna play the? Are you playing the Detroit game, Al?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not gonna touch that. So you want to see Buffalo, Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this.
Hey, Al, by the
Yes.
way, somebody, and I don't know if it was Legends or other people, or maybe it was multiple people. Oh, no, I've got it. I've got it somewhere. This guy sent me a pretty good design on working up highlights for the week. So you have a highlights
Ooh.
reel. But
Ooh.
again, I haven't had time to
Yeah.
get through it, but
You know what would be cool?
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Might
that
be able
would
to
be
do that
very
in that
cool.
state or something. But
Good night, Bella. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah. Okay.
Legends was asking about the field goal animation. It hasn't.
You know what would
changed.
be cool?
I am open to suggestions. Go ahead, Al. Sorry.
If the highlights could be expanded to big plays too.
Yeah, I mean, I can pretty much add anything you want in there. Oh, you mean like if somebody gets at least 20 yards or so?
A 50-yard gainer.
Like a
or
50-yard gain.
Say 40 maybe.
Yeah, so like a big, not necessarily a touchdown, but like a big play.
I
like-
might be able to do that. Because
like
another
those-
thing I started adding, and again, it's not
Yeah.
quite there yet, is I started tracking passes for 20 plus and for 40 plus, and rushes for 20 plus and 40 plus.
Yeah.
And again, that's an issue. It's really close. But these next 2 weeks, I have to focus on making sure I fix every bug that I know of, including animation and any problems. And then maybe I can add some of that stuff. But I like the idea of adding big plays to the game. I love that idea, in fact.
All right. Let's who do you think's going to win this game? Cincinnati or Buffalo pulls off the upset?
I'm gonna go with
Cincinnati.
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 Buffalo pulls off the upset. The
All right, here we
Arkansas
go.
rifle Joe Ferguson. What says the chat? Here we go.
Yeah, but Legends, we probably could improve it. By
It's not. Here's a pick. Come on. Throw a pick, Kenny.
Later.
Fumble.
How did you know that?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
It was intercepted, and he fumbled the ball away.
Oh man, JT, that's an even better idea. Jeez.
That's that. It was
He missed.
intercepted.
He missed.
And then
He missed.
You got it.
That's that.
He got it.
It's good.
I thought he missed.
52.
Okay. This is what Legends were talking about. You can't always tell, but I don't know how to improve that. Do y'all have any ideas?
What,
You
what
can
is
tell
this
by watching
again?
the little guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on, Joe. I took the points.
I'm loving reading these comments. I like JT's idea. I'm going to add that as a wish list.
Look at Jim Breach with all these long field goals.
What was his chance? His chance must be really good for him to try that.
Well, let me look that up.
It's a low-scoring first half.
Uh-oh, here comes a punt return.
Oh, man, I hate that, what he just said. That's a good point. Okay, so big plays definitely need to get in there. I can do that.
Let's see. His longest field goal. Oh, it's not going to tell me on this one. I got to go to Football Database.
9-0.
It's good.
Come on, Buffalo. Why they take the points? Why?
Oh, there it is.
That's why.
Touchdown.
Ferguson, come on, Joe. Touchdown.
Complete.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
The Arkansas rifle, baby. Oh, no. Miss. You got to miss this one. He shanked it. That's a Shankapalooza.
Yeah, he did, I think.
Wide left.
Jim's coming back down to earth. No, Joe. No. Yes.
Ooh, that could be a clincher.
Breach's longest field goal was 51 that year.
Kenny Anderson, pick. Against the zone.
Intercept.
Oh, wow. Look at Buffalo.
15-1.
Cincinnati's choking.
This will probably put it
Buffalo
away.
put the game away here.
It's not going to be a
Roosevelt leads.
Super Bowl rematch.
That's a touchdown.
Left over from the electric company, I think Roosevelt leaks.
Oh, watch this be a miracle comeback.
Did he play for the Colts? Roosevelt Leaks? I was thinking he played for Baltimore. He blocked for Lydell Mitchell back in the 70s.
Could be. Who's it?
He didn't make it on 4th and 13. That's why we saw that.
Wow. I guess I was wrong about Cincinnati.
Complete.
Boom.
That's a touchdown.
Although I
That's
guess-
why they play the game, right?
That's
Try
right.
they play the game. That's why my little guy.
Game over.
You know what? We should have
I had Buffalo.
we should have run a preview on this and analyzed the game and see who was favored. I bet Cincinnati was favored. But
Oh yeah, they were
15
15-1. Yeah, they would have been favored
15-1.
playing at home.
yeah,
Arkansas
Joe
rifle.
Ferguson, is this his year?
man.
So
So
it's Miami and
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Buffalo never wins in Miami.
No, not in real life. They don't. not in that era.
Do you want me to sim it? Do you want me to sim my beloved?
No.
No,
Why,
it's
aren't you going to
fine,
play it?
Al.
Yes, I have to play it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Hey,
play it
so-
tomorrow.
One thing I was
Okay.
going to suggest is after you play this one, if you do the conference championship, sim the AFC, but don't reveal it. Watch it in TV mode, like in between quarters.
Oh, like when we brought it up the other way.
Right. But the only thing you're going back to is you're checking on the AFC Championship game, provided that you are Al coaching Detroit and you beat Philadelphia.
I always like. I tell you what. The uniforms. Let's just preview this. I'm just going to show you something.
Hey, real quick, you
Yes.
click on achievements.
On the bottom right.
Yep.
Now, what this is weekly achievements, and you step through a week, and this is only in season play. But you can also go back and look at a team. So let's click on the back button here, and click on teams, and pick any team you care about. Pick your Detroit, and then click on achievements. And now you can see every week, like you went 9. Their offense. Wow, that's not a very good achievement in week 3 there.
No.
But one of my questions is, how many folks actually care about this? Because I've thought about trying to fix this for career seasons, but I don't even know if people care about this. Is it worth trying to do?
When I do an online game, I always click achievements.
Okay.
Like when I'm with Slovic,
I think
sometimes it comes up. Just for individual games, though.
Okay.
It comes up, but when it's all over, I like to click and look. Look at stretches. But
okay, then I'm going to add that. Like I said, I've got 2 weeks. I don't want to break anything. Thank you, Worlds. I'll try to fix that then. So I've written myself some notes. I'm going to add big plays to the highlights. I'm going to try to fix achievements for career play. We do know some things for next year, like RPO, some other things. I can also try to show who recovered the fumble on the
that, and then someone also mentioned who forced the fumble, but I don't know how.
I might be able to. I just got to see.
What was that first defensive achievement at the top? Defense has caused a turnover in 4 straight games. Look at
3.
that.
Oh yeah, it was 3, then 4, then
Hey, and then 5. Look at that.
That's pretty cool.
Oh man.
Archie Manning gets 1,000 yards in week 6.
Yeah.
Archie running for his life, Manning.
Something I really, really want to do, but I haven't gotten it to work yet. I want you to get an announcement. If you're coaching or watching a game and somebody breaks 100 yards for the game or breaks 1,000 yards for the season.
Like it pops up?
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
Yes.
But I haven't. That'll probably be a next year thing. But I can do the achievements. So, all right.
So, is there anything I've kept you for over almost 3 hours?
Oh, hey, this is very energizing because I'm pretty tired. These guys are tired. And you know what I'm doing for 2 weeks? Well, in part-time too, because I've got a real job. But part-time.
Okay,
none of us have real jobs, by the way. None of us have.
Everyone hear that? Everyone has real jobs. Real jobs.
See, that's the thing. We all work, and we're making these mods, and Kerry works, and he's making a game. But that's kind of crazy, Kerry.
So the only reason I said that was I find myself getting tired because when all you're doing is fixing bugs, that's not real fun. But just going over this with you and with the guys in the chat and all tonight reminds me how much fun this is. So it's okay to fix the bugs.
And again, if you have any suggestions of things that you might like to see, put them in the comments on the video. And I forward everything to Kerry or I almost every time I get a comment, I forward it. Whether constructive criticism's always welcomed, I'm just going to give you my final opinion on the game. I love this game. I'm not a fanboy because I've said things like, why can I not win 16 games in a row with the Patriots, Kerry? Why?
No, 7, you have a legitimate shot.
I don't want to play that team. It's boring.
Because you will go 16-0.
Hey, the Dolphins went 13-1 that 72 season. They ended up beating the Packers in the Super Bowl. That was a couple versions back.
Yeah, that's when you were playing the real life 72 Dolphins. You went 13. Well, were you the Dolphins?
No.
Okay, but they went 13-1. Okay, gotcha.
No.
Okay.
I was playing my beloved Patriots. Who, we almost made the playoffs. No.
So what I like is get the game out in 2 weeks. Let it settle down. I'm sure, unfortunately, there'll probably be some issues. Try to fix the critical ones first. Hopefully there's nothing too critical. And then we can tweak some things and then chill for a little bit and start thinking about next year. Because I already know there are things we want to add for, like trading players in career mode. In coaching mode, we really need a passing tree. There's all sorts of things that need to be added next year.
Fantasy draft would be fun. Like you just,
I agree.
Like you take like one season, like say 81, but now you
Thank
get to
you,
be.
Andre.
I think Mike, you should put like a point
Thanks,
total,
Mike.
or Lee, or both you put like a point total on the players if you wanted. So you can't just sit there and even then in a draft, you're not going to have all the best
Oh, you mean for like a sort of a what do you call that?
fantasy draft.
Yeah,
Ultimate
we can do.
GM mode.
You get an OVR now, so we can do that probably. But also, I think you could use that for finances later, because I don't think I'll ever add financials. I can't keep up with that game. I forget what it's called, but that's all they do. Well, if that's all they do, I can't match them.
That's a different game.
That's a different animal,
and that's a whole different take on it.
Right, but I can do something light.
Yeah, even if you couldn't do that, it'd just be fun to draft your own team, like
fantasy draft. Yeah, I can do the fantasy draft. In fact, I want that too. The hardest part right now is I've got to come up with the best way to design the pool and the draft, because my game unfortunately is 7 rounds right now. But Gary, I hear you, man. LSU, what does that mean? The school? Oh, yeah. Thanks, Jamie.
With John McEnroe arguing.
So I wonder. I'll just have to see if I could get the draft in. Let me do everything else first, and then see if I can add that in an update. It may be. The nice thing is that is separate from the game itself and leagues and stuff. So I may be able to add that in an update, Al. If not, I want that for next year.
This game is so enjoyable to me. I have so much fun. To look at the Tampa Bay uniforms, what they should still be, the creamsicles. It's just beautiful. To look at Pat the Patriot, to me, you be quiet, Michael. You're wrong. And then, no, but it's fun. It's
That's a legend.
It's just, it's a fun game, and there's strategy involved. Is every game for everyone? No, but I think you get a lot of bang for your buck. I know the seasons, they're costly. Free.
Look, for Lee and myself and for Dream Teams, it's cost us a lot.
Yes, it is costly. Your time and effort.
Blood, sweat, tears.
A lot of it.
So let's
wives.
Yeah, so you know what? LSU made a good point. Give me a little while. Give me at least a few weeks past the release to see if I have time to see if I can add a fantasy draft. Well, thank you. That's good to hear about the financials. And one thing I'd love to hear.
One thing about the financials, I don't know if this is still. I think I've mentioned this before.
Oh, he said no, and I don't think I'll ever have full financials in the game.
Yeah, just as a maybe and you can make a salary cap out of it. You'd have to do the math, but what if you took the overall player ratings?
Right.
Okay, and you consider, is it a 43 player 53. Team or 53?
Right.
Okay, and you come up with a team is given X amount of points to be spent on a player rating. So if you wanted to get Peyton Manning and he's a 99, you can draft him, but it's going to hurt you with everything else. So I mean, it could just be off of that, and that's what they're willing to spend.
If you could do 2 versions, one with points, one with no points, or just no points. I just think it'd be fun to draft, because either way, you're not going to be able to get every top-notch player unless you fix the
exactly, because there's 31 other teams drafting with you. And next year I'll try to extend the career to be maybe 64 teams or even more. I'll have to redesign some stuff to support that, but I think that would be good. And I think this would be a great dialogue for us to have in November. Let's see how this game does, but then hopefully when let's think of the positive and negative. Let's think about, well, what could have gone better? I mean, I never even thought about the
hello, Michael.
Hi,
Michael.
Michael,
glad you could join us.
Hey,
Michael, did he have the Friday Night Lights? Did they win? Was that Michael who was
I
going?
mean, I do. I do. I got
Yeah.
to be honest. I love the suggestions, the ideas. I mean, what I don't like, I've had a few people say, well, if it doesn't have this, I'm not buying your game. And I think, well, that's one way to pretty much guarantee I won't do what you're asking. But most folks, thankfully, they don't do that. They say, your game's got a good basis, but you should improve sacks and tackles. So what do? We improve sacks and tackles.
At least the attempt was made. You put in
Yeah.
the rating system; it's in place. Lee is still
Right.
trying to, uh,
And it can
tinker
be tweaked more.
with
That's
getting
fine.
it so that it's a little more. I mean, it's already more realistic, but he's trying to take with make it even that much more realistic.
Exactly.
So it's you got to have it in the system first. And this look, I've built teams for other games too in the past, and the reason I built for Kerry's teams is because I saw this game had potential, and I hadn't done it since the pro. I used to do it for Front Page Sports Football,
Oh, wow.
and I just wanted to do something, and this brought me out of quote unquote retirement of building these things. But I saw there was
And
a
we
lot of
appreciate
potential
that.
here. There
We
was just
do,
so
me
much
and everybody
potential
else.
here. You're welcome. There's so much potential here. But I just lost my train of thought. We were talking about before that.
Fantasy draft.
Yeah, the
Oh man, I don't remember. We're all
what's
getting
that?
old, Mike.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did 15 minutes ago. So
Oh,
Yeah,
league
I'm fa-
expansion
I'm-
is something I definitely want
I'm
to do next.
fading.
In fact, well, he asked about league expansion. I'll come back to the mobile thing in a second. Listen, we've had this conversation because man, I want that, and I'll tell you why. I love starting with the 75 Cowboys, but when I go to 76 or 77, I want to pick up those extra teams, or even better, I want to actually be able to pull in the 77 league that these guys created and let that be my third year. And let me have that alternative. So I've got some ideas for that next year. Now, Andre asked about Android and Apple. It used to be on Android. It just never sold enough to justify the extra work. So it won't be on Android anymore. Apple, it's been on the iPhone. This is the first year that I'm really struggling with that because it is extra work. And again, just doesn't pay much. So I'm trying to see, because if you raise the price, nobody wants to buy on iOS. But if you don't raise the price, I'm not making any money on it. So I don't know yet, Andre. I'm looking at
Catch-22.
You got to do what makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm taking time. So, but I want to try, Andre. Okay. Some guys have given me some ideas on that. So it may be a few months, but I've got some ideas maybe. And I will never do in-app purchases. I mean, that's just it. Even if I raise the price in the game to $25, that's it. You play for hundreds of hours for $25, and you get all these mods.
It's a steal. It's a steal.
It's bang for your buck.
Steal.
Again,
It's a steal.
I never do microtransactions or anything like that. I hate them, so I don't do them.
I make the joke about the season's free, but they're free and they're good. And if you can tweak
we're not going, and we would not do that anyway.
So
we're a community, so we're helping to keep this game. I mean, last year I know that iOS, there was a possibility that it wasn't going to come out on iOS. It did, but I mentioned this to Lee. I said, if it doesn't come out to iOS, let's see if we can't support 2021 with the 2020 the prior version that was on iOS with an updated modern day season to at least give them something to try to keep that alive. We were just trying to give some kind of temporary backward support, but because it eventually did come out for iOS, if you want the latest, go ahead and get the new game. But that was something we considered because we didn't want to just people who had iOS, we didn't want them abandoned altogether. Just give them something for one more year, but it didn't end up being necessary.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, JT made a really good point, and I wonder if we could do that. It won't be easy. He would love, so let's say I take my 75 Cowboys, and now I move to the 1976 season. Instead of a fake draft, we already know that I can import a CSV draft pool. So that part's already there. But he's saying, wouldn't it be nice if you took the 76 league that you guys created and create a draft pool from that? And then
We've talked about that.
that would be pretty cool. And I think we could do that.
We have talked about it. We have been I mean, I started looking at it before.
I think I could write some code to do that.
Well, and we looked at that, and what we would use is, so let's say we're talking 1975.
Yeah.
We were going to research the actual 1976 draft. And then we were going to take,
That's good.
And then we were going to take whatever ratings and information for new players from 1976, and that would literally be what they start off as when you draft them.
Oh man, you know.
So we were going to do that for every year.
Dang,
but
Mike.
we've been so swamped with doing.
That's a big project.
Yeah, it is. But I started looking
at
how
you guys do what
but
you
we
do.
also ran into some problems of, if we were to do that, but you run into situations where you may not have enough players.
Right.
You also have to consider, now I got to look up all the undrafted people.
Oh no,
that weren't part of the draft.
Right.
How do we incorporate that into this?
What if we take, I generate the default draft pool, you export that to CSV, or eventually maybe next year I'll write something inside the tool. And now you only change however many you can change. So let's say my draft pool, I don't remember, but let's say it's got 60 quarterbacks in it. But you only modify the top 20 from the real life draft pool. That would work. But it's still, I don't think you guys should do this though. But
that's something we talked about. It's just, then it was, okay, here's what we're going to do. I didn't catch what was posted.
One guy just said,
it's a lot.
You guys are slackers. I'll double your free payment for if you'll do it.
Thanks. But it was, but Lee, I know Lee was doing so much work on the graphics, and I was kind of dormant. Yeah. Then I'm like, I'll do the skin tones so that we can, utilize our time. And Dream Teams were working on all this graphics. I'm like, I'm going to do the skin tones, and it took me months.
Yeah.
So it was like, let's utilize our time to try to get this product out and hopefully get. We didn't know if we would get every season out, but it looks like we're going to now. But
including the 2022 season, which
Lee
is
has been working on
no other game, or no other computer game, to my knowledge. There might be one or two will have ratings for the 20. Again, you don't know how they're going to play in 2022, so you have to estimate.
I'll be honest with you. It's basically the ratings from the players that are on the teams this year is probably from what they were last year, and we have to make up the ratings for the rookies. But we'll move them around to different teams. Like, for example, Mitch Trubisky is now a quarterback for the Steelers. He's not the backup for the Buffalo Bills.
Here's another cool thing. At year end, you can play the playoffs. Definitely the Super Bowl, because I've done it. And the playoffs, because these two fine gentlemen go back and re-rate the actual rating.
It takes a couple weeks. It could take a couple weeks though. So it won't be out like the wild card round. It might be out the division. It might be out the divisional round.
I don't pay you guys enough.
So we'll have what we'll call the league the "quote unquote" final league. So it'll be called 2022 final. I always type it in with all caps. I don't know if that's the way it's released, but I type it in so that you're not mistaking it for the pre-release version.
Yeah, there's two separate things. Yep.
Right. Before the year starts, and it's based off at the end of the regular season, and that's actually how we build our teams, is how they did on the regular, not the playoffs, the regular season, because we're going to have the statistics for the regular season that's consistent with everybody else. So, it's being worked on, and I know Lee's working on it. I'm actually, I've got 4 more teams to do, but I'm going through the 2022 preliminary right now, and any player that doesn't have a picture, I'm finding it and getting a picture. The new coaches got them. So, and then I'm going to go through and do all their skin tones. Now, Lee has done, I think, 6 teams so far with the skin tones, and I've spot checked them. I'm going to do all of that. Then I'll send it to Lee, and he'll work on the ratings and whatever lineup adjustments they may have, and then cross our fingers, it's ready when the game's released.
So I've kept you long enough. This has been marvelous.
Oh, it has.
We had a lot of good interaction. That's why I like to do these live, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys coming on. We can do again if you want to come back in November and do it again. One thing, is it loading the season up is slightly, maybe it was me. Is it slightly different to load the mod up?
In reference, what do you mean slightly different? I'm trying to follow what you're
Because when I
what you're
first
asking.
loaded the 81 season,
Okay.
now grant you, I probably should have looked at the instructions first, but I was like, I can do this. Then I went back and I did. But okay, let me put it this way: instructions come when you download a mod season. There is a text
README file.
Yes,
With
read.
basic instructions.
Listen,
Yes.
don't be Al Red Sox fan. Read the README file.
Yeah, and let me just say that the seasons will probably not be released by as individual seasons. What we'll be doing is releasing them by decade. So and you can download all of them. I'll create a zip file that has everything. But
and when he says everything, folks, he ain't whistling Dixie. He's talking about
everything
minus the pictures.
Minus the
That's
pictures.
still going to be
Minus the
separate
pictures.
because not everybody wants it or has a hard drive space.
But it will be by
Yeah, I'm gonna see
decade,
if I can fix that.
just because of the images, the way we got the images set up this year, and there's a method to the madness. People are first going to be like, why did you do what was going on? No, that we had to do it this way to save some hard drive space, because if we did it like we did previous years, there's not a computer out there that's big enough to hold
when you
the
do
amount
it,
of space.
so if you wanted to play 1973, you basically download the whole decade.
The 70s
1970s.
decade. Yeah, you'll get 70 to 79.
Yeah. And the thing is, on the surface, you may think, well, I mean, for those of you who only play 1 or 2 seasons, you only down 1 or 2. Yes, it's going to be more for you. But for those who download multiple seasons, what ends up happening is a lot of the artwork is redundant.
Yeah.
So I'm just making up years. So Dallas might have the same uniforms from 1960 to 1974, helmets, uniforms, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, you only need one set of artwork, and then you have it for all those teams. But you have all the different league files that have all those different Dallas seasons, but they're all sharing the same artwork. So it's more if you're only concerned about 1 or 2 seasons. If you have a bunch of seasons, it's actually less space. I hope that makes sense.
That's right. Well said. You said it better than I could.
All right. So
Thank you very much.
let's go. Mike in the truck. Final words. Thoughts.
Look, simply put, have fun.
Yes.
I mean, we have fun making this stuff for everybody. Have fun. Don't be shy to, ask questions. Once you download these leagues, they're yours. You want to tweak it for your own personal use? Go right ahead. You want to make a mod? You have something to offer? Contact us through the esteemed community and tell us what it is. We'll look at it and we may put it on because it's not just like me and Lee and we don't care about anybody else. No, we do. Share. That's what we're doing for you. We can have a central place with the mod site. Share your stuff by all means.
Thank you very much, Michael.
How about you, Lee?
Yeah, I pretty much echo what Mike's just said. I like Mike. I've been around a long time playing these kind of games. I go back to the front page sports days as well, and so I've seen a lot of games. And this game really has, just captured my imagination. I'm an amateur football historian, if you will. So I love the game.
You do a wonderful job.
It's my passion. It is, and this game to me just does it all for me. So I mean, no game is perfect, but the amount of work that Kerry puts into this, and the passion he has for the game means a lot to me. And I really enjoy the time I spend. I do probably spend way more time, doing these modifications than I do actually playing the game. But at some point, I
You
am
kinda
going
have
to,
to.
I'm gonna cut that off, and I'm gonna actually spend some time, managing a team and try to get through a season. It's gonna be fun. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you very much, Lee. Our
Man,
good friend
Yeah,
Kerry.
thanks for having me.
I agree.
We're
with
gonna have you
everything.
back on if you want. So,
Absolutely.
so
I agree with
Kerry,
everything that they said. I look forward to playing it myself. But man, I got to tell you, if it was just me and these guys weren't doing this, um, the game wouldn't be a fraction of what it is. And I also think I love the chat that I got to see tonight. The suggestions, I've written down a lot of them. I always feel like, man, I wish I could get that in now because, there's just such good things, and it really motivates me and stirs me on. And I look forward to playing it too. So, Lee, that's I agree with you on that. And someone said, I think it was World's Worst Gamer said earlier that squashing the bugs is most important, and I agree. So that's why the next 2 weeks, my top priority is squashing the bugs, improving the AI and the animation, which to me is kind of in the area of bugs. But then also, I'm going to try really hard, Mike and Dave. I don't know if Dave's still on or not, but to try to see if I'm going to try this pretty soon, in fact, because maybe it's a simple thing to do inside Steam that would let you choose where to install the game and have the mods go there. I've got to see if I can do that. So, and then next year, I'll make it even more flexible to where you can pick where to put different parts of your game. That would be nice. So thanks,
It
Al,
would
for
be.
hosting us. You rock, dude.
now thank you guys. I have the easy job. They send me the stuff and I get to play it.
Yeah.
And then I get to show it once they allow me to show it. And I do it. If I didn't like the game or didn't believe in the people, I wouldn't play the game. It's
Sure.
a fun game. Again, this is my opinion. It's fun. There's strategy. I enjoy it. I think there's plenty of people who do enjoy it. And if you're on the fence, that's fine. But for the price point, it's going to be slightly higher, I believe, because of the
Maybe. Harry's kind of kicking that one around. But
So,
I will say this: when you see the video, if he doesn't change the price, it's going to add to the humor of the video. I'm not going to disclose why.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disclose why, because when
Thank you,
see
Mike.
the video, I pitched the idea for the video without giving it away, and I suggested let's do it this way. I mean, we'll go over the top comical, but we're still going to advertise the game properly. And I'm not going to disclose anything, but I think it works. But if Kerry has the old price, it's going to add to the humor, but just by sheer happenstance.
Well,
I'm not going to tell you why.
So I like to thank you for letting me be part of this process.
Thank you, Gary.
It's a very fun game. It's just fun. I have fun. I smile even when my stupid kickers miss field goals.
Al, I played Mike in the truck twice with Mike's Cowboys. First game, Roger Staubach threw like 2 or 3 interceptions. The second time we played, it was down to the wire.
No, it was. We only played once. It was.
Was it the same game?
90. It was the same game. I was 90 Buffalo, and you were 77 Dallas.
Well, you punted to me, and my punt returner fumbled the ball.
Right. I had to punt to you. You were score behind. If you on that drive, you had a chance to win. It was very late in the game. I'm like stuck. I got a punt.
And I thought Roger's going to pull it out.
The ball, and I recovered. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to hold on and win this.
How about this one? Here's a better one. You stop the team. This has happened to me in games. I think a few games online, but mostly not a lot. But I'm just saying when I play in other different Patriot seasons, I'm like, do not hit the punter. Do not. I'm telling them, do not hit the punter.
My God.
And you watch your little guy go, bam! Why would you hit the punter? You're like, what?
So now now you know how coaches feel in real life.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
going, what were you thinking?
Oh, there was one at Monday Night Football, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville. It was 97. And Jim Miller punted,
Thank you, LSU.
punted,
Good.
had a bad punt. And Cower was furious. And then they went to commercial break, and then they came back, and they were showing a highlight of Cower. And they didn't do the audio, but you could see his mouth say, "What the blank was that?" And I'm like, I was stunned that made it. I mean, obviously not the audio, but they just had him slow motion barking at the kicker, and that's literally what you could. It was so obvious. His mouth was so big, you could tell what it was like. Wow, oh my goodness.
In fact, if you've played pro strategy football, later in the comments, leave us some of your fun moments, tragic moments you went, ah, and moments that you went, yay. Also leave your thoughts on what you might want to see in the next version.
Yeah.
Because Kerry and Crew, you just saw it. We just had these guys on for 3 hours. They listened to everything. Not many folks do that. So thank you very much. Health and happiness to everyone. Take care. Treat people the way you want to be treated. God bless. I love you all. You know what's coming, folks. Thank you to Mike in the truck, Lee, Kerry, and peace. See you soon. Remember,
Thanks.
Pro Strategy Football 2023. Bring it to a PC near you. It's going to be released on Steam very soon. And every season costs what, everyone? Free.
Thank you, guys. All right, we'll do this again maybe in October, all right? Talk to y'all later.